We are live, the Michigan Football Report, Tuesday night college football playoff top 25. Thanks so much to everyone who's watching. We are just getting the ball rolling. I think we're just going to jump into the content tonight pretty quick. Jack, let's ask people a few questions, 2 or 3 questions before we start. We're going to talk some coaching staff rumors, also just the general public statements that have been made on JJ McCarthy, Will Johnson, talk a little Zach Sinter, maybe Jim Harbaugh's future. Also, later on in the show, we're going to preview Michigan, Iowa, and take your questions. Michigan Football Report live Tuesday night, college football playoff top 25. Let's see some Go Blues. I already see him in the chat. We got our guy, Ken Kenyon. What up, Ken Kenyon? Zaire, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Greg Scher says, I hope Michigan, so we have an easier playoff game. I think that's who's going to be number one. Got that. Another Rose Bowl in the Rose Bowl indeed. Look, if it's Michigan, Washington, Michigan, Oregon, I hope Georgia decides they want to play in the Rose Bowl for some reason because I don't want to deal with the West Coast fans, right? You're never going to have a fan advantage going against the USC and Oregon and Washington playing in the Rose Bowl. It's just the way of life. So even though I think storyline, last Big Ten, Pac-12 season, they're all kind of joining forces next year. Pac-12 is going away. It will be cool storyline to have that playoff game happen between a Big Ten and Pac-12 team the final year in the Rose Bowl. But I just don't think Michigan's at a geographical advantage. So I'll put tradition aside, and hopefully Michigan gets a better geographical one and ends up in the Sugar Bowl. Who will be number one tonight? The 2 teams that have really ruled college football the last 3 seasons: Georgia, Michigan. Right? Only one of these teams is going for the 3rd straight conference title, and it ain't Georgia. That is Michigan. Georgia, of course, won the national title in 2021. Did not win the SEC. That was Alabama. Give me an M if you think it's going to be Michigan. Give me a G if it will be Georgia. I got Zaire with the M. I got Cornelius Canamore with an M. Marks with an M. William, Bob, Lil Wojo, Andre Duke, Timothy Martin coming in with the M. This is a pro-Michigan crowd at this point, Jack. This is a pro-Michigan Football Report, Michigan crowd as well. Jimmy Russell coming in with the G, so either he's a realistic Michigan fan or, potentially he is a Georgia fan or Ohio State fan infiltrating things. Ashley Lawson, I want to say M, but we all know they refuse to give it to us. It's kind of weird. I mean, I think Michigan at some point should have been a number 1 seed in one of these rankings. Ohio State was number 1 for a couple weeks. I think Michigan looked better than they did all year. Buckeyes got that, of course, because of their win against Notre Dame, at Notre Dame, and then at home against Penn State. I see a Judy Jordan, Ralph Bowers, Jared Smith, Norman Dillard, Bradrick, SEC bias. Michael says G, unfortunately. Kennedy with a Michigan. Ja DeMan should be Michigan. Yoder, but would be surprised, to be honest, if they aren't. Sean says Ryan Day sits down when he pees and drinks Bud Light per a sign I saw on TV. So not sure what's that saying about Ryan Day. I don't know if you saw that, Jack. His coaching playbook actually got run over by a kind of runaway driver today in Columbus. Did you see that footage? Check my Twitter account. It's kind of wild. It was actually a trash can. Trash. Andre Dukes gave me the can't hear you. Okay, Andre, we're falling for the can't hear you one. Good one. Never heard that one before. But I did want to actually tell you guys something else before we jump into the top 25 rankings and our Michigan football coaching rumors. And that is today's sponsor, and it is Prize Picks. Folks, Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. It's easy. It's fast. You just pick more or less on player stats to win up to 25 times your money. I see you with the $2 Super Chat. Lost Angels. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Let me show you my Prize Picks coming up for Thursday night football. I am going less on Geno Smith, 228.5 passing yards. I don't think he's going to do anything against these Cowboys defense. I'm going more. It's a very pro-Dallas Cowboys Prize Picks for me. More than a touchdown, pass rushing, or receiving for Tony Pollard. And then the Cowboys kicker, I've got more than 1.5 field goals, and that's all you got to do with Prize Picks. It is super easy. I go on there in less than 60 seconds. I pick the games, pick the players. I did it against Michigan Ohio State game last week. I had 4 guys on the line. I think 3 of them hit. So unfortunately, I didn't win that one. And Prize Picks has reboot policy. So any of those 3 players, right? If Geno Smith, Tony Pollard, or Brandon Aubrey gets hurt in the first half and does not return in the second half, I've got insurance through Prize Picks. Those guys are taken out of my Prize Picks, and it lives on. And you guys can keep your money living on with Prize Picks $100 up to $100 deposit match. So go on and get started with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com, /CLNS. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. We put it in the live chat. We'll have it down in the description. And, keep putting it in the live chat throughout today's show. Easy to play, super fun. I've been playing it all year long, and I'm not even a daily fantasy guy. Put some on Michigan. The stats for college football usually comes out on Wednesday or Thursday. Check back with Prize Picks tomorrow or Thursday. See what they've got going for JJ McCarthy, Blake Corum, and other Michigan players coming up in the Big Ten championship game on Saturday night. Speaking of the Big Ten championship game, predict the score. Michigan, Iowa. I don't know what to make of the score, Jack. I think I made a prediction on Saturday. I can't remember what it was, so I'm just going to remake a prediction for this Big Ten championship game. I'm going to go 31-0 Michigan. 31-0 Michigan is my score prediction. 31-0. I think this Iowa offense, and we'll talk about it a little later in the show, is probably one of the worst, if not the worst, of any team that's ever won 10 games. It might be this season bottom 5 offense in all of the Power 5. So that's what I think of this Iowa offense. But I think it's going to be a big test for Michigan, right? Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa. Above and beyond the best 3 defenses Michigan's going to face before the college football playoff. Will they, though? Will Michigan perform at a high level, passing and running? They haven't done it against Penn State or Ohio State at the highest levels, and we'll see if they can do it against Iowa, which may actually be the best defense of those 3 teams. We have a super chat. No, we didn't have a super chat. Jack, we did have a super chat. There we go. The Lost Angels coming in with a $2 super chat. Says Michigan will be 2 because of SEC bias. Who's to argue with that, right? We've seen SEC bias for years, right? They get in multiple teams, right? You don't even have to win the SEC. Think about 2021. Alabama didn't even win the SEC. 2017, or 2020, Georgia didn't win the SEC. 2017, Alabama didn't even win the SEC. Both those teams won the national championship. It went back to the BCS era. Remember 2011? Alabama didn't even win the SEC. They were one of 2 teams in the BCS championship game, and they ended up winning the national title. So if you're an SEC team, you don't have to win your conference title to get into the playoff, to get into the BCS, and then, of course, win a national title. Big Ten, you have absolutely very little room for error, except, of course, what Ohio State did last year. And actually, they got in 2017 or 2016 as well because they beat Michigan and a Big Ten champion Penn State, who Michigan beat by 34 or something like that. Did have 2 losses. Let's take a look. Let's jump into our Michigan football rumors as we have 20 minutes until the college football playoff top 25 gets rolling. So before that, we're going to talk some Michigan football. Let's get this bad boy. Jack, we ready? We ready? Jack says it needs 1 second. That is fine. 200 likes? What's that all about? If we get to 100 likes, get to 100 likes. Jack saying we got to get to 100 likes before he feels confident in pushing us to this next thing. He's ready, but like the video, let's put this in the feed of more Michigan football fans. We have 210 people watching right now, but only, as of my count, 30 likes. So be good. It costs you nothing. It helps the show. It brings more Michigan football fans to the show because YouTube knows you're a Michigan football fan, and it drowns out some of these other fans, the Ohio State ones that are still in our comments this week, commenting cheater and this and that. We're going to talk Michigan football coaching carousel. And later in the show, I think you guys are really going to like it. Later on in the show, about maybe 45 minutes from now, I'm going to go through every Michigan football starter and tell you whether they're either out of eligibility, likely to go pro, likely return, or some guys 50-50, and I'll give you my thoughts on those 50 players. We went from 30, we're up to 70 likes and like that, Jack. So that's close enough to 100, 72, 75 likes. Appreciate that. Keep liking the video. 200 watching, 75 likes. Michigan football news and rumors. Take a look at the coaching carol and injuries coming up in the show. Let's get it rolling right now. Jack. That's producer Jack. Now fire Jack. Let's give you another shot. The people want to say, save Jack some post-production work afterwards because we want to put this up on the channel on Wednesday morning. Jack says he knows the error he made, so we're going to give him one more chance. Now, if he doesn't get it right, Jack, you know the people, we're going to be typing fire Jack in the comments, all right? Should we give him one more chance? You got one more chance? You ready? All right, Jack, you push it whenever you want. It's the Michigan Football Report with, on the hot seat, young Harbaugh, Jack Lotteray. Let's see if we get it right now. I am James Yoder. We are going to talk about the latest injury update on Will Johnson and my expectations or whether we're going to see him on the field coming up Saturday night. Big Ten championship game against Iowa. But I see Indiana right there. Sherrone Moore. A lot of buzz about Sherrone Moore looking at the Indiana job, but he's not the only Michigan coach that might be a top candidate for that vacant Indiana head coaching position. But we're only 3 days removed from beating Ohio State again, man. It still feels so good. I just can't imagine how down in the dumps I'd be 3 days later, 75 hours, 74 hours after the game was over, had Michigan lost. And I really never had any doubt. I never really had much doubt. I think it was a lot of doubt after the subpar offensive performance against Maryland and maybe the lack of passing against Penn State. I never had a doubt. So if you guys are with me, comment Bosa. Let's make sure we don't forget, because I think that's what Ohio State did. I think after 2019's blowout win against Michigan, after 2018-2019 blowout, I think they lost to Clemson on some controversial calls in 2019. They were focused so much on Clemson and Georgia and Alabama. They lost track of who they are as a program. Michigan kind of found their identity at the same time, and that's turned into 3 straight wins to the Wolverines. So let's not take our eye off the ball. Comment Bosa all year long. We're talking about Sherrone Moore in Indiana. Mike Hart, though, is the first shoe to drop in this Big Ten or Michigan Football Report, Michigan Football Coaching Carousel for the 2023 offseason. It's been now confirmed late in the last hour and a half, 2 hours or so, that he has been contacted and via his representatives has agreed to interview for the Indiana head coaching position. Now, you guys remember, he was a running backs coach for 3 seasons at Indiana, 2017, 18, 19. Then got elevated to kind of like the number 2, right? The associate head coach, which for some programs is a level up above the offensive defensive coordinators. Fred Jackson was that for a couple years back in the 90s to Lloyd Carr. So interesting, right? I don't know if I would recommend Mike Hart takes the job, but he might be kind of itching, right? He's been in coaching for a decade now. He might be itching to get that head coaching job any way he can, and he knows the trials and tribulations of coaching at Indiana. And in fact, Indiana had some of the greatest success when Mike Hart was on that staff back in 2019, and hell, when they broke a 34-game losing streak to Michigan in the 2020 season. Ironically, you know who the quarterback was? Michael Penix Jr. before he transferred to Washington. We'll talk more on that coaching carousel in a second, but a few injury updates. Not much to really say as far as official updates. I know some fans get really mad if you even speculate on injuries. I'm not really sure why there is because they're college kids, but Will Johnson left in the second half of the fourth quarter, except it didn't play against Ohio State. And Michigan did great without him in the secondary, right? They figured out a way to stop Marvin Harrison Jr. Lower leg injury. He was running. I saw footage of him running across the field, though, after the win. So I don't think it's that serious. Harbaugh and Sherrone Moore both made statements on it. First one, Harbaugh does not have an immediate update on cornerback Will Johnson. This is from ESPN's Adam Rittenberg in the Big Ten Championship press conference call with Harbaugh and Kirk Ferentz and some other people on Sunday. Talks about Sherrone Moore as well. He called it a lower leg injury. Lower leg injury is what it's been put out there. That's all good. I see you, Ashley Lawson, with that $20 super chat. We'll get to you right in a few moments. Will Johnson, though, this season so far, 20 tackles, not tackling a ton, right? Because why would he tackle? Michigan doesn't give up passing yards very much, and he doesn't give up very many catches. 1 tackle for loss, 3 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, an interception, of course, against Ohio State. 2 tackles against the Buckeyes, 1 interception, absolutely boxed out Marvin Harrison Jr., got the pick, and I thought that was actually pretty lazy on Harrison Jr. If you saw the footage. He kind of gave up the second Will Johnson stepped in front of him. Johnson got like 18, 19 yards on that return. Last year, though, he had 2 interceptions, and I don't want to say it was his coming out party because he had been starting for about 5 games after the Michigan State game, after Jimon Green got injured in really the tunnel fight. Will Johnson took over as the second starter next to DJ Turner for Michigan. But this Big Ten championship game was really when I think people nationally started to take notice of this, at the time, true freshman. 2 interceptions with 2 tackles last year against Purdue. My takeaway here on Will Johnson going into this game is I really don't expect to see him, healthy or not. We saw him sit out the first couple games of this season, not play because he was coming off an injury really at the TCU game last year, missed a lot of spring ball, etc. I don't expect to see him coming up on Saturday. I think Michigan doesn't fear the passing attack of Iowa at all. I think they're just going to rest Will Johnson, even if he's 90%, 85%, and not even risk a re-injury. So, in my opinion right now, do not expect to see Will Johnson coming up against Iowa on Saturday night. I'll ask you guys a question. What about you? Do you expect to see Will Johnson play? Left the Ohio State game, was serious enough that they held him out against Marvin Harrison Jr. in what could turn out to be a 1-score game, and really needed Jalen Harrell hitting Kyle McCord to get that win, get that interception. We're seeing a lot of no's in the live chat coming up already. So let me know, live chat, let me know down in the comments if you're watching this on Wednesday, does Will Johnson play on Saturday? JJ McCarthy Sherrone Moore commented on him in his Monday press conference. And we'll talk about JJ's injury, right? I thought JJ looked spry. I thought he looked loose and limber, but he's got multiple injuries on the lower leg. He's got an ankle. He's got a knee injury. Sherrone said, I think he's better. I think he showed that when he took off and ran down the sideline, ran past those guys. He's feeling good. JJ threw for 80% completion against Ohio State, 148 yards. Now, did have one touchdown passing, which is an absolute dime, an absolute beauty to the likes of which we have never seen, I think, out of a Michigan quarterback. Over the top of one helmet, right in between kind of the arms of a defender, right in the breadbasket of Roman Wilson, who absolutely caught the ball at the 4-yard line, took 3 steps, got past the goal line, then the ball was taken from him in the end zone. So I think anybody who's trying to say that was an interception are complete fools and are just trying to rile you up as a Michigan football fan. But I digress. JJ's, though, I think is going to be near 100% health coming up on Saturday. I hope Michigan gets a 21-point lead and they just pull him out of the game and let somebody else get those final snaps, as Michigan should have. No problem, I think, with holding Iowa to very few points, but Michigan, they need to worry about against the Iowa defense, scoring points themselves. Chris Partridge, Michigan's fired linebackers coach, has been with the program 2 different stints, like 2016 to 2019, and then went to Ole Miss for the defensive coordinator. Return back this season. One of Jim Harbaugh's closest confidants. Will tell you all about this Chris Partridge statement, what we think about it here in just a moment. But I did want to tell you guys about the sponsor of the Michigan Football Report, Prize Picks. They've been with us all season long. The easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. You just pick more or less on player stats to win up to 25 times your money. This week on Prize Picks, I'll show you my picks in a second, but did want to tell you why I love Prize Picks. It's you versus the numbers. They put numbers and stats for players in football, in basketball, college football, baseball, et cetera, et cetera. You pick the sport you want to look at. They give you numbers. It might say JJ McCarthy, 185 yards passing, 105 yards and a half. You pick more, you pick less. That's as simple as it is. You can mix and match sports. You can pick an NFL player, NBA player, right? Boom, right there. They've got the insurance reboot policy. If a player gets injured in the first half, does not come back for the second half, that does not hurt you in your Prize Picks. It's taken out of the bet. Also, they have flex play. Did want to show you, though, my picks for this weekend. Thursday Night Football. I've got Geno Smith. I'm going less than 228.5 passing yards, right? It's that simple, more or less. Tony Pollard, I'm going more. Half a touchdown. I think he's going to get in the end zone, passing, rushing, or receiving. Clearly, I think it's going to be on the ground for him. And the Cowboys kicker, Brandon Aubrey, I'm going more than 1.5 field goals made. Guys, get going with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get up to a $100 deposit match. That's up to $100 deposit match. Helps you get used to it, right? Your money lasts longer. You put in 100, you got an extra 100. Put in 50, you match that too. Got an extra 50. Link is down in the comments in the description of today's video. We'll also put it here in the live chat if you're watching Tuesday night. Get going with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. $100 deposit match using code CLNS. Keep rolling here on the Michigan Football Report as we are about 11, 12 minutes from the College Football Playoff Top 25 rankings. My top priority right now for this Michigan football program, maybe outside of Jim Harbaugh, maybe that's top priority. This is just be priorities that you can control. Because if Jim Harbaugh wants to jump to the NFL, there's nothing that Michigan's going to do, money or otherwise, to stop him if he's got a job that he wants to take. Retaining your offensive coordinator, retaining your defensive coordinator, keeping the band rolling for hopefully what is another Big Ten championship next year. Let's take a look at what these guys compare to the top coaches in college football, assistant coaches. Pay scale. Garrett Riley made the switch from TCU. Saw what he did with that offense last year over at Clemson. He's your top paid assistant in college football. Washington's offensive coordinator, Ohio State's defensive coordinator, Georgia's defensive coordinator, Oklahoma's offensive coordinator who just got a head coaching job at Mississippi State. LSU's, I think it's their D coordinator. Pete Golding at Ole Miss, their D coordinator. Tommy Rees at Alabama, OC. Kevin Steele, Alabama's DC. And then Andy Ludwin, the offensive coordinator at Utah. Moore and Jesse Minter, they're $700,000 off, right? They're like number 34, tied for number 34 in college football coaching salaries. Now, I'm not saying that Michigan just needs to throw money at these guys for absolutely no reason, but that's a lot of money, right? $1.15 million is a lot of money to be an assistant coach, but these guys are both going to have options. I think Sherrone Moore has a lot of options right now for head coaching jobs. I think Jesse Minter's going to have a lot of options for NFL defensive coordinator jobs and maybe a lesser head coaching job than Moore would get. But that's where they're at. We'll continue on with the story, show you what I think on these two guys. Moore, though, is a Broyles Award finalist, the second time in 3 years. Ironically, that a Michigan offensive coordinator is a finalist for this award in 2021 2021, Josh Gaddis won it somehow, even though the fact he really wasn't at that point. I don't think Michigan's true offensive coordinator. I think it was actually Jim Harbaugh and maybe even Sherrone Moore himself. Last year, Minter was up there. I think he was only a semifinalist. Minter was not one of the final 5 guys. Bruce Feldman, though, and other sources have linked him, Indiana people have linked him to the Indiana job over the last couple of days as Indiana fired their head coach. Basically saying here that he's done an amazing job at Michigan, offensive line coach, OC, acting head coach. He's only 37 years old. Will he leave Michigan after this year? He's now proven that he can win 2 games against top 10 teams. That's pretty rare amongst any interim midseason coach that's obviously not going to get the full-time job. He's a hot commodity, right? This Ohio State win, the Penn State win 2 weeks prior to that. He is a hot commodity. Indiana's being rumored. Duke is even starting to get rumored as their head coach, Mike Elko, goes over to Texas A&M. Does he wait for Harbaugh to leave Michigan, right? The craziest thing in history would be if Harbaugh were to tell him, no, I'm staying at Michigan. Sherrone, you've done good for us. Go take the Indiana job or the Duke job. And then a month later, Harbaugh decides to go to the NFL. That would be, even if Harbaugh didn't intend it, that would be quite the shocker to Moore, I am sure. I think Sherrone Moore, if I was him, and if he watched the show, which I'm sure he does, I would think about guys like Kirby Smart, right? Was with Nick Saban's staff for about 20 years. I think he was the defense coordinator for 8 straight seasons. Had all kinds of offers after year 2, year 3, year 4, to jobs like Duke, jobs like Indiana, Mississippi State, I don't know, Cal, just these kind of second or third rung Power 5 jobs. How about Brent Venables? Could have got the Kansas State job. Could have got a ton of different jobs over the years. I think he was even rumored to be the top candidate for Miami at one point 5-6 years ago. Waited for a top tier job. Both those guys did. Oklahoma with Venables, Georgia with Kirby Smart. We see how it's worked out for those guys. Too many times assistant coaches jump at the first job that is available to them in the Power 5, an Oregon State or an Indiana or Purdue or something like that, and they go 5-7, 6-6, 5-7, 3-4 years, and they are shown the door. The career takes a big step back. If I was him, I keep rolling with Jim Harbaugh as long as he thinks Michigan keep winning. Wait for a job amongst these levels. Like, keep staying out there. Make people want you as long as humanly possible. And I think Michigan needs to keep the band together as long as humanly possible. We show those openings, Jack, the job openings, Jack. I'm going to make sure we run through those just to let people. What's that? No worries. Okay, so opening jobs right now, we've got Duke, Oregon State, Indiana, Houston, unless they hired somebody recently, Boise State, San Diego State. They look like they're going to make a hire today too, and New Mexico. I think those are all the open jobs. Syracuse just made a hire as well. Who they hire? I can't. Yeah, Syracuse got their job. So a lot of jobs out there. I think Duke, maybe even Oregon State, that would be kind of a suicide job right there. They have no conference to win the Mountain West next year. So we will see how things shake out. Keep the band together. That is my ask of Jim Harbaugh. If he's staying, put the money in front of these 2 guys and make sure we're keeping the band together. Now, one note for Minter and Moore is Jesse Minter, Mike Macdonald, Michigan's offensive coordinator in 2021, only 1 season, beat Ohio State. Go to the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best defensive coordinators in all of football now. He proved it at Michigan. No Stallions needed in 2021, 22, now 23. The Ravens defense is absolutely lights out. He's a young guy too, around 40 years old. Mike Macdonald is. He is a top candidate for what could be 7 or 8 NFL jobs. If he were to get an NFL job, which I bet he does, I don't care what Michigan's paying him, I think Jesse Minter himself is going to end up jumping to take that Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator job because that's kind of where he grew up and where he got his chops there as a football coach back before he took the Vanderbilt job for 1 year in the 2021 season. Back to Sherrone Moore. What will Sherrone Moore's next job be? Do you think it's going to be the Michigan head coach? Give me an M if it's Michigan's head coach either now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. Michigan's head coach, his next job, or is he going to go take a head coaching job elsewhere, whether that's Indiana, Duke, 2-3 years from now? Just type other, Michigan, M, or other. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Maybe the top thing in people's minds is what's Jim Harbaugh's future at the school? We've heard rumors, and I think I had a decent enough source about 4 or 5 weeks ago that there was some serious talk in the month of October before the Stallion stuff came out there that Michigan was going to extend Jim Harbaugh, right? A top paid coach, $10, $11 million a year, 7-8 year extension. It didn't happen, but he's got the support of Sant'Ono still right now. I think this story has started to die down, right? There's a story every single day for about 25, 30 days straight. And now that's all dying out. And as such, I wouldn't be surprised that after this Big Ten championship game happens, they don't let Harbaugh go and we see something announced. But Until it happens, I'm just saying we'll see, because I have been burnt one too many times over the last 3 years or so. Michigan needs to retain Harbaugh, and once they do, make a push before the coaching carousel starts. It's really starting right now, but really before it heats up, which starts kind of next week after the conference championship game. Get Harbaugh signed, keep Moore, keep Minter, keep the band rolling. I also don't want to get crazy. I don't want Michigan to take the success that Sherrone Moore's had over the past 3 games, and prior to that, 4 games as a head coach this year, and give him some head coaching waiting job, right? It never works out. Texas did it a while back under Mac Brown. It never works out successfully. I don't think Michigan should even entertain doing it. If he's doing a good job, pay him well, try and keep him. And when Jim Harbaugh decides to move on, either to the NFL or to retire from coaching, then you make sure you're more into your head coach. But I think this whole coach and waiting thing is kind of overblown and never really works out. Is a Harbaugh extension coming soon? I don't know, but if we do, Chat Sports Michigan Football Report will be on top of it. We'll go live, honestly, as soon as it can. If it's during the office, we're in the office, we'll go live within 20, 30 minutes. If not, we'll rush into the studio as fast as we can. Talked about the Chris Partridge statement a moment ago, just kind of paraphrasing the top things he said in it. He says, the claims, the reports of why he was terminated have been inaccurate, right? The blog boys, the Michigan blog boys, are saying that he told players to not cooperate with the NCAA. The non-Michigan media has said, well, of course, he was Stallion source, right? He was paying Stallions. He was doing all this with Stallions. He says neither of those are true. Okay, cool. He said he had no knowledge of the sign-stealing operation. Claims he didn't destroy any evidence. What he was fired for, according to him, was that he was told by Michigan to not talk to anyone else at Michigan about the Stallion situation at all, and apparently had conversations just in general with players. A player or two said that to the NCAA investigators, Big Ten investigators. That was reported back to Michigan. Hey, I did speak about it 2 days ago about what happened with Chris Partridge, and that's why he was ultimately fired. He wishes Jim Harbaugh the best. He has no ill will towards Michigan, and I absolutely wish him the best and hope he has a job next season. I don't think this should be a stain on his career in any shape or form. But remember this. Remember this. And I hope Chris Partridge is telling the truth. I am. But I'm a big dot connector, and it just does kind of like, I don't want to say irk at me, but it's always in the back of my mind, is this from about 4 weeks ago. The aspiring football coach, an aspiring football coach, shared his text with Connor Stallions to Sports Illustrated about a month ago or so, from January, February of 2021, where Stallions was bragging about how he was cool with close to the whole staff, but most especially Chris Partridge and hell, even Jay Harbaugh. And the text that Stallions was obsessed with helping Michigan. There's so many pictures out there of Partridge and Stallions. I hope, just like I hope Jim Harbaugh has nothing to do with this sign stealing, yada yada. I hope that Chris Partridge is telling the truth there. I have no reason to believe he's not, but never believe anything at face value. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are coming up on 30,000. That's right, 30,000 subscribers. 29,000, about 400 or so, 450 here on the show. So subscribe if you get to. It's youtube.com/Michigan TV. Send that link, of course, to your friends, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Let's go through the all Big Ten teams that were released this afternoon, defense and special teams, where Michigan players were ranked or were slotted by the coaches and the media. Take a look here. Will Johnson, first team defense, along with Mason Graham. So 2 true sophomores from Michigan. First team defense, Junior Colson. Second team, Kenneth Grant, Chris Jenkins. So 2 in the defensive line, 1 linebacker. Mike Sainristil is a second teamer as well. James Turner, second team as the kicker. Michael Barrett, third team, according to the coaches. Rod Moore, third team, and Tommy Doman. Bunch of guys got all Big Ten honorable mention. Samaj Morgan is a returner. Jalen Harrell, Braden McGregor, Derek Moore, Josiah Stewart, all 4 of those guys on the defensive line. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's seven guys who got either first, second, third team or honorable mention by the coaching just on the defensive line alone for Michigan. Makari Page and Josh Wallace in the secondary for this Michigan football team. Now, let's take a look over on the media side of things, right? Where do the media rank Michigan's football players? Will Johnson and Mike Sainristil, first team defensive backs. Junior Colson at the linebacker, second team. Chris Jenkins, second team. Mason Graham, third. Kenneth Grant, right? He's not even a real true starter for Michigan, yet he is third team all-conference, according to the media. And what was he? Second team on the other side. Michael Barrett, Jalen Harrell, Braden McGregor, a bunch of the same guys are honorable mention there. And those are your Big Ten all-conference nominees. The media, the coaches for this 2023 Michigan football team. I actually thought Michigan should have more players on the first team, second team defense. Frankly, I've seen years where Ohio State's had a great team in 2019, 2020. They have like 5 defenders, 4 offensive players in the first team, 2, 3 offensive players, 6 defenders in the second team, etc., stuff like that. So I was a little disappointed, but make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. 29,416 is the current number. We are the Michigan Football Report. Subscribe to the channel, and remember, we will have the fastest post-game show in all of college football coming up Saturday night after the Big Ten championship game. Let's see who will be number 1 in this college football playoff top 25. Ward Manuel's in Dallas. We are in Dallas, and Jack has got a little guy outside this door with an envelope that he hands Jack. If it's cold, it's Georgia. If the envelope's hot, Jack, that means it's Michigan. You open it up, you'll know in advance. That's how you'll know. You can give me a little tip when this is released. So let me know who's going to be number 1. Michigan, Georgia. Look, I think if Georgia beats Alabama next week, even if they're not number 1 today, unfortunately, they'll pop back up to number 1 next week. I think that's the unfortunate truth because that's just how it is. 2-time defending national champion. But Michigan's got 2 wins in the last 3 weeks over top 10, top 11, top 10 teams. I think Penn State was number 9 or 10, right, when they beat them. Ohio State number 2. Michigan has the best win in college football this season, right? They beat the number 2 team in the country, and that's recency bias. Number 3, the Michigan schedule doesn't look as bad as it used to. UNLV is kind of knocking on the door to be a top 25, top 30 team. So I don't know. I think it would be crazy that the Manless says Yoder's the man. Thank you, Manless. Appreciate you. Mark says Georgia. Scott saying Georgia. Bradley, Austin, and Strike 3 are all saying Michigan. Stephen Boone coming up with Georgia. Ken Kenyon says, unfortunately, Georgia. And we just got a knock on the door. The top 25 is going to start rolling in right now. And it is. Kansas State coming up at number 25 with 4 losses. How about Liberty? How about Jamie Chadwell? They are number 24. Clemson, 8-4, still sticking around in the top 25 at number 23. Tulane at 11-1. They are your number 22 team. And Tennessee stinks, Jack. How are they 8-4? Joe Milton, he can't really play worth anything, unfortunately. Tennessee is going to come up at number 21. So there is 25 through 21 here on college football. John Smith saying cheaters. Slam the comments with Bosa's, please. We got some Buckeye fans. John Smith saying cheaters. Light up the comments with Bosa's. Let's see if we can get 100 people to comment Bosa right now. Bosa. We're inside the top 20 here, but I gotta stomp out the haters here. Bosa. All right, inside the top 20. Oregon State. Didn't really have that competitive game against Oregon. NC State, Oklahoma State. What a turnaround. So here's how it's crazy, Jack. Oklahoma State's starting quarterback in a conference championship game was Michigan's 5th-string quarterback last year. Can you believe that? That's how crazy it is. Notre Dame, Iowa. So Michigan will have a chance to take down 3 top 16 teams in a 4-week span against number 16 Iowa at 10-2, maybe the worst 10-2 team in the history of college football. We're inside the top 15. How about Jed Fish? How about Arizona? Boom. Bear down, says Jack. Even though he went to Arizona State, they have, 3 losses for Arizona, right? So I think 2 of them are right there on the doorstep. So they could be a 1-loss team right there in the top 10. Louisville, LSU with 3 losses, whatever on that one. Oklahoma and Ole Miss. Very SEC slant there, 13 and 11. I think those teams get ranked a little higher than they probably should. But I think that does mean that Penn State's back in the top 10, right? Didn't they drop out for a little bit? So Penn State being back in the top 10. Before we get to the top 10, let's take this super chat from Ashley Lawson. Penn State is at number 10. She says, sent you a helmet pic on Twitter. It's center stage in my living room for all to see. Go Blue. Ashley, I'm going to put that on screen. I'm going to go check that out. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't checked my DMs very frequently lately, so I will take a look at that. We are inside the top 10. We have got, I don't know why I'm checking on my phone. I'll just check on computer. Penn State at number 10. So Michigan's got 2 top 10 wins, right? Ohio State will probably come in at 7 or 8, but I don't see why Ohio State should maybe be a little higher than that. I see it, Ashley. I see the photo. Let me send this to Jack. I'm not sure if you can use the photo. No, I gotta download it. I think Jack too. Yeah, but it's a DM, so you can't. No, it's like an encrypted one. So I'll just save the image. All right, we are inside the top 10. I will get this up on screen. Missouri is number 9. Penn State is number 10. So Michigan has 2 top 10 wins. Georgia, though, they've got a top 10 win in Missouri, but Ole Miss outside the top 10. I don't think Georgia has any other top 10 here wins. So Michigan's the only team to have 2 wins inside of this top 10. So we'll see how it shakes out. Alabama's going to come in at number 8. So Ohio State's got the edge on them, but of course, I don't think it's going to matter if Alabama beats Georgia. They, of course, will catapult there. Texas at number 7. So Ohio State does not drop out of the top 6. The Buckeyes still in the top 6 here as we are coming up on our last one. The last one is Sunday. We will be live for it Sunday morning. We are going to go live. What do we say? 11 o'clock, right? About an hour before. It all goes down on Sunday. The final pairings, College Football Playoff 2023. Jack, I'm going to send you this Ashley Lawson. If you get a chance, no rush or anything like that, to put it on screen. They're taking the sweet time. So I'm going to send this over to you, Jack. The Ashley Lawson got her Michigan football helmet. See if I can just drop it over to you on Slack. There we go. And it is. I'm going to have a little sip of beer. Got poured one. It is Tuesday night, and it's almost December. Kind of December is one of those months where you can drink basically any time. You can have a drink at 11 o'clock. Not 11 o'clock is too early. Maybe anytime after 2 o'clock in the month of December. I think it's socially acceptable to have a drink. Right? It's dark in a lot of places by 4:45, 5 o'clock. Jack, I'm doing a first kind of meet and greet with the kids, the parents, coaching the basketball team. I don't know if I told you this. On Thursday at 5:30. I was going to do it like at 6:15. The sun sets at 5:27 on Thursday, so we're going to get like 10 minutes of sunshine, like kind of dipping down out in the playground at the school to just talk and maybe shoot a couple hoops before it gets dark. So that's kind of how crazy it gets dark these days. Give me an M if you think Michigan's going to be number 1, or number 1 currently Georgia. They stay at number 1. Give me a G. I've got John Smith saying Michigan rules. Also have John Smith saying Michigan is his dream school. Cougs with a Bosa. Hurricane Megan, give me an M. TC with an M. Zaire, as they just knocked on the door, hand Jack the sticky envelope, and that means that the Ohio State Buckeyes will drop from 2 to number 6. Ohio State coming in number 6 on this college football playoff top 25. They say the big word there, Jack, is the penultimate college football playoff. And by the way, got 500 people watching. Hit that like button if you haven't watched it, and subscribe to the channel. Do me a twofer. We don't usually do 2 asks at once, but if you're new to the show, hit that like button. Ding! We're at 151 likes. Let's get to like 200 ASAP before Michigan is ranked number 1 in this CFP. And if you've never watched the show before, we're doing live shows today. We got another live on Sunday. We might be live after Michigan, Iowa Saturday night, but if we're not, we will have a video out ASAP. Let's go back to the bracket, Jack. We'll show Ashley's helmet here in a second. Expect Oregon, and they are. Oregon will come in at number 5. So Ohio State is number 6. Oregon is number 5. As soon as the top 4 are ranked, we'll go over the whole top 25 one more time for anyone who is just joining us. Let's get to 200 likes before that happens, though. 169 likes, 500-plus people watching. Hit that like button here on the Michigan Football Report College Football Playoff Top 25 Rankings Reveal with your host, James Yoder and Jack Lotteray. Make sure to hit that like button as we're going to wait for this top 4. Who's going to be number 1? Are they going to drag this bad boy out? But I did want to show you this photo. Ashley Lawson tossing up a photo to me of the helmet. I got one right here too, Ashley. She won the duck race a couple weeks ago, and we sent her a Michigan football helmet, one of 2 that we sent out 2 weeks ago. Florida State is going to be number 4, so they're going to stay behind Washington for the second straight week. All right, last week was Washington 4 for the first time. Florida State had been 4. Washington popped up above him, but now with Ohio State losing, dropping down, Florida State stays behind Washington. Now both teams are undefeated. Florida looked bad against Florida, but ultimately got the win in the fourth quarter. And the game was a 2-score game, was closer than that. I watched most of the second half of that one. And then Washington is going to come in at number 3. So here it is. Type M, type G. Light up the comments. Let's put the good vibes out there. Like the vibes. I want Michigan to be number 1. I don't care if it's only for a week. I want Michigan to be number 1 because they have not been number 1 since before Jack was even born, 25 and a half years, January of 1998. Light up the comments. Type M, type Bosa. Let's go. Let's put up the good vibes. Like the video. And they are not. Michigan's going to be number 2. Type boo in the comments. Type boo in the comments. Type boo. Boo. I'm going to tweet this out. That's crap. That's terrible.
You want to talk about a complete collapse in integrity and in
abomination.
It's an abomination. You want to talk about an SEC bias. I mean, what would you say we're doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I just tweeted that out, Jack. You guys should go retweet that at James Yoder. So there is your top 6. There is your top 6. Jack, I don't know, man. That's it kind of stinks. Now, Michigan could be number 1 next week. Alabama could get the job against Georgia. They've done it before, but,
But, like, you're looking at the resumes, and Michigan clearly has the best win. Clearly. Georgia does not have a better win than Michigan has. Georgia should not be number 1. It should be Michigan. They clearly had the better win. That's BS to me.
Yeah, complete crap. Becky and Chad, the Buckeyes, the cheaters. We can all agree with that one. Take a look at the top 25 one more time. Kansas State coming in at number 25. Jamie Chadwell, Liberty. That's a guy, I think, Jamie Chadwell, 5 years from now, we're going to say, man, how did everyone not jump on top of that guy? He's winning a national championship in another school at some point, right? He's won at Coastal Carolina. Now he's winning his first season at Liberty. Clemson, Tulane, they're having a good year for the second straight year. They've got a hell of a coach themselves. Tennessee, inside the top 20, you've got Oregon State. You got NC State, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, and Iowa. Toss those one over there, Jack. There you go. That makes sure 20 down through 16. Iowa playing Michigan coming up on Saturday night. Michigan have a chance to get 3 top 16. Iowa will probably drop as long as they're not blown up by 40 points. Iowa will probably stay inside the top 20 even if they lose to Michigan because they'll only have 3 losses. Inside the top 15, you got Arizona. What a turnaround they've had as well. That program was left for dead after Kevin Sumlin 4 years ago. And now they're a player or two away from being a 2-loss, maybe even a 1-loss team for Jed Fish, former Michigan offensive coordinator. Louisville, LSU, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. So there's 2 wins right there. LSU and Ole Miss for Georgia. What do they got? What else they got? Right? That's. Oh yeah, Missouri's in the top 10. I forgot about that one. So 3 top 13. But did they play LSU this year? I don't think they did actually. No, they didn't play. So it's Missouri, a top 10 win, okay, and then Ole Miss. That's what it is. So they did not play Georgia. Penn State.
But if you argue, you're looking right now, Michigan's got 2 top 10 wins.
Yeah.
Penn State and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like.
Yep. Absolute sham. Absolute sham. And I want Michigan number 1 because, frankly, I think I saw someone in the comments say, too, is like, look, what up, Impaler of Horizons? I want Michigan to face the worst team they can because I want them to be in the national championship game, right? I mean, that's just as easy as to say as it is. So if that turns out to be Florida State at number 4, Florida State wins on Saturday against Louisville, sure, I'd like to play Florida State over playing Oregon, over playing Washington. That's just facts of life. But nevertheless, Michigan now is the number 2 team in the college football playoff top 25. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going F on the grading these rankings for the college football playoff. Committee rankings number 5, right? We had Halloween night. We had November 7th, November 14th, 21st, now here on November 28th. And the final ones will come up on Sunday, Sunday, December 3rd, coming up. We will be live at 11. It was at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, right? 11 a.m. We'll be live for the CFP Top 25. We'll do a ton of Michigan-related content. We'll do a Big Ten morning after recap, overreaction Sunday, if you will, and then go through the top 25 and hopefully instantly preview Michigan's opponent, whether that's Florida State, whether that's Washington, Oregon, Texas, hell, maybe even Ohio State, although that would actually maybe want to my brain frying if Michigan were to face Ohio State again. John Smith said Ohio State is scared of Oregon. I would be scared of Oregon too if I was Ohio State. I don't think they keep up with them. So thanks for your commentary, John Smith, on the state of the Ohio State football program, which, although they're 11-1, kind of in shambles. But I really want to give a shout to John Smith, clearly a fake name, but is a big fan of Michigan and big fan of the show. So thanks so much for commenting so much, John Smith. Stephen Nedlean, he says, Oregon can't beat Michigan. Jared Smith, Roman, we love you. I thought for sure it'd be number 1 and Georgia would jump us to championship weekend. That's what I thought too, says Stephen Shefflow. So thanks so much for that comment. I see you, Jim Wynn, Impaler of Horizons, Ducks and Bucks. And this guy, yep, you got it, I Wild. Oregon would also win by 14 over Ohio State. Yeah, probably that's about right, 14. Bailey Glassford, more concerned about Ohio State BS in the way into the playoffs again. And Michigan be ranked number 2, right? Florida State loses, right, to Louisville. Texas loses to Oregon State. You could see that happen. Georgia beats Alabama. I think you could potentially see Ohio State backing their way into the playoffs for a second straight year. They always get lucky. Michigan never gets lucky by those standards. So it is what it is. Richard Larocco, Bears fan number 1. Go Blue, back to you. Rob J, I see you. Chrome and I Wild says no over Michigan. I don't even know what that says. Dr. Bing Bong. Bing Bong. Is that the me? Bing Bong. What's the other thing? It was like what would you say to Joe? It wasn't Biden. It was yeah. What would you say right now if you had a chance to talk to Joe Byron? Yo, what's up? Take me out to dinner. Wasn't that the meme from like a year and a half ago? Oregon is trash. Who wears Louis Vuitton? Now, I don't, because I'm not facetious, but apparently Denzel Burke from Ohio State does, and that's who Roman Wilson was focusing on, not actually Marvin Harrison Jr. Ashley Lawson with a $20 super chat. Boom, Ashley Lawson, our helmet gal. Hope you are still healthy and everything's going well with the great news you got from Michigan Hospital a couple weeks ago. She says, to be the best, you have to play and beat the best. I have more faith in our team than I have in a long time. Go Blue. Charles Woodson and a couple of the Michigan football players on the field, a couple guys from the 1997 team, have publicly commented that this is the best Michigan football team they have ever seen, including that 97 team, including teams in the 80s and the 70s and the 2000s. So I kind of agree with that, play the best. But I'd rather have to play one more tough game than two more tough games. Right? Just increase the odds. Let's say you have a 50-50 chance winning both games, right? If you do the math, you're a math genius like I am, that means really in reality, if you flip coin like that, the odds you get both right is only 25%. So I'd rather increase those odds as much as we can. But Ashley Lawson, you are a Super Chat legend, and you've made it now into the top 10. Not as many. Oh, yeah, she has made it right there. 300. I'm sorry. I thought I missed her. There you go. Number 5. Let's take a look and give some credit and some attribution to our top 10 Super Chat contributors of this 2023 season. John Blaze, who we haven't seen today. You'll know when John Blaze pops in. If he wants to be seen, he will introduce himself. $3,063. Some guy was 6'10". Jim Prindable, my man Jim Prindable, $495. Backroad Blue. I don't think we've seen in a while. We haven't seen Backroad Blue in a while. Ashley Lawson, now number 5. Ackerman DJ, $250. Josiah Kiter, haven't seen him in a little bit too. Wolverine Alaska's popped in and out. He's got a tough job there, and it's up in Alaska, so this is working hours, a lot of time. Chris, Jack, your mom, Chris, at $120. Look at that. Supporting the show, supporting the cause. And Steve Richard with $120. Steve, I don't know if I got a DM from you. I did get one from, who's the other one? It was Kellerman. Who was the other one that I had to get the DM from? I forget the helmet winner. Yeah, Don Francillo. And we did get the DM from him, so we got to reply back. That is our top 10 Super Chatters. Join the Hard Hat Club. So if you want to get on the end, do we have the video, Jack? Do we cue that up? Do you want to toss that up for the people? Get the Hard Hat Club. So if you Super Chat $10 or more, we will immortalize you on these hard hats, which I'm going to start sending out a little more of them. Coco Bear, A-Train 132, Chad Ode, some guy, Roscoe Truman. We got a $100 Super Chat from Strike 3. First time Super Chatter from Strike 3. Coming in with 100. Boom! My guy, my star. Hail, hail to Strike 3 with his first ever Super Chat. Go Blue, Strike 3 with a $100 Super Chat. I think that means I got to chug a beer, right, Jack? Or what was the $100? Can you go grab the bong for me? We'll leave Strike 3 up there for a minute. Give me a Coors and a bong, Jack, if you can. If there's no bongs available, I'll Merbonga, or I'll just chug it. Doesn't matter to me. There you go. Strike 3 with the $100 Super Chat. Really appreciate it. Strike, I think you're only a few dollars away from the top 10. And that 50 right back from Steve Ricard. There you go, Steve. How you doing, my man? Our helmet boy, Steve, with a $50 Super Chat. Jack just went to get the beer bong for me that I owe for Strike 3, and then we'll get you up on screen, Steve. Thank you so much for that Super Chat. We got a 50 burger from Steve Richard. Jack, he's contributing to you, right? Steve, is it number 1, is it Richard, or is it Reichard? Number 2. 1 Richard, 2 Reichard. Comment for me. Let me know I'm saying it right. I think it's Reichard, probably. So type number 2 if that's right. If it's Richard, type number 1 in the live chat. All right, no free ads. This is not a Coors Light. It's some other brand. I will do a beer bong. Jack, you should tell Steve what he is contributing towards. Toss that up and then put his comment back on the screen. We're raising a fund for Jack. Corporate, this economy, right? Recession. I don't want to spill this all over the place, so I got to make sure I put my thumb in there. pulling back on budgets. We sent 4 people to the national championship game last year. Now we're going to have to scale back a person or two. So we're going to raise the money for Jack. You guys, and I'll contribute as well to get Jack to the Natty, to get Jack to Houston. Got to raise $1,000 between now and Christmas on these ones. So we're only counting the $50 super chats. Any $50 super chat from now till then goes towards the Jack Fund to go to the national title game, to go there on Media Row and behind the scenes, everything like that. And you really get 1 or 2 press passes, so we got to buy Jack a ticket because I'm not think I'm going to take the press pass as Michigan will be in the national title game. So any super chat, you put you on the screen, you contribute towards the show. $5 gets a wheel spin, which we'll show here in a second. Hard Hat Club on the helmet, on the end screen. Helmet now, end screen after the season. $50 contribute to this Send Jack to Houston fund. And then $100 that we just saw from the first time super chatter Strike 3 win the whole fucking thing. That's right. From Major League. Steve, the 50 burger, you are sending Jack, hopefully, to the national championship game. Jack, tell him about your promise here. Why I do this?
Yeah, so my promise.
Before you do, get some chugs in the comments.
Get some chugs in the comments.
50
Let's
people
go.
type and chug. I'm going to do this while Jack tells you about his promise.
My promise. If we raise enough money, and there's a little photo of me at the national championship last year so that you can have a little bit of motivation. If we raise enough money so that I can go to Houston, I will dress up in full young Harbaugh gear at the game. And we'll take photos, we'll do videos, we'll make content, we'll do all that. I'll get the whistle, I'll get the gloves, I'll have the whole damn thing. So if you want to see young Harbaugh dress up as young Harbaugh, that's my promise to you.
Jack, it's a hell of a good photo. I'm glad you picked that photo there because that is us at Media Row 2 days before the national championship game last year, Saturday. And which is really funny, I thought TCU, and I think it all makes sense now, they were telling us they were basically stealing signs from Michigan because they said they knew exactly what Michigan was going to do on those 2 JJ pick sixes. Stealing signs? I don't know, or getting signs from Ohio State.
They admitted that didn't they admit that they knew the sign? They had the signs, yeah.
We should look at that. We should go find that footage and finally publish it because I think we never did because it's so much other content. Yeah, we'll have to go track that down and see if they actually said new, and then we'll have our own scandal. Ooh, yeah, Jack, you should have a hamburger and maybe you should have on your phone you should have incoming call stallions or something like that. You know, just buy into the haters and losers, of which there are many. Here on the Michigan Football Report. There's a $50 super chat from Strike 3. Bam, Jack. You know what? I'm going to. I told you I was going to drink. Go grab one more of those off-brand ones, the blue ones. I'll do one of those, kind of a Steve Ricard Strike 3 combo, right? Because I want to make sure that they give. I'm showing love to those guys. I don't know if I missed one. Roman Wilson in the chat. Got to be the real one, I would think. Where is Steve? Well, Jack's going to get that. I'm going to make sure we didn't miss a message from Steve. Steve. Oh, Steve. See if we're pronouncing his name correct. I don't think, Steve, I saw one from you. So it is what it is. Steve Ricard. We're going to call it Ricard. Going forward until you tell otherwise. I got another one. No free ads. So I'm going to show the beer off screen. Jack, we got a deal in the works with a beer company for 2024 for the whole company. So it's not signed yet, so can't really talk about it. But there might be some actual sponsored content. But drink responsibly. A lot of foam. Jack, while I'm doing this, tell the people we've got coming up. We've got 2 more segments to do here on the show.
Yeah. So the next
where's
segment.
Producer cam, bro. Producer cam.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting. James. Here's the thing: is you're the star of the show, man. I care about you.
Woo.
So I forget about getting myself on screen.
You got to be more forceful. You
All
got
right.
to let the people know they want to contribute like
right.
Strike 3 did and like Steve
Here we
did.
go. Everyone type chug in the chat for James to get this bong down. All right. Here's what we're doing next. We got a mailbag. What we're going to do, use hashtag Michigan, or you can super chat like Strike 3, like Steve, like Ashley. If you got a comment, if you got a question, it can be about anything about Michigan. You know, we already talked about Sherrone Moore. Is he going to leave? What's up with Jim Harbaugh's extension? Will Johnson injury? All of that. There he goes. Chug, 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 chug. Get your questions in. We'll answer them. They'll go in a video. You know, we can talk about college football playoff rankings, whatever you want to talk about. Use hashtag Michigan or super chat We'll get you on the show. And then later, we're going to preview the Big Ten Championship. Michigan, Iowa, best defense in college football, one of the worst offenses in college football.
History.
We're going to break it down. In college ball history, we're going to break it down. Don't miss it. Subscribe, like the video. Just got over 200 likes. Let's ride. Let's go. And again, get your questions in, because that's going to be the next thing we do is the mailbag. So get your questions in, or you can super chat. We'll get you on the show.
29,429 is the number of subscribers we have on this channel. Steve, is it Richard or Richard? One or two? Reichart. Yeah, Reichart. That's number 2. Let me know, Steve. I see you typing the chug, so let me know which one it is. We want to pronounce your name correctly, as you have contributed to the Send Jack to Houston Fund. I'm waiting for January to be number 1. I like that from JW Fackler. We'll get that one on there. I like that question, JW. So we'll answer that here in a second. Rob J says Florida State has a decent chance of losing. I think it's a better than decent chance, right? I know they're favored by 3 points, but I have a tough time seeing Florida State beating Louisville, even though Louisville just lost to Kentucky, even though their coach was about to walk out the door. So we will see how that shakes out. So use hashtag Michigan. I will answer the next 4, 5, 6 questions. Hashtag Michigan. We'll put on the show. We're going to take questions about 15, 16 minutes. And then what's the shoot, Jack? What's the shoot? Oh, my gosh, Jack. Go back to the previous one. Just go back. So hashtag Michigan, we'll get the shows. I'm going to take about 8 to 12 questions here. We've got 2 from earlier in the show. We got JW Facklers. We've got a couple super chats that we want to basically put on the channel. So let's see. Strike 3 with the Bosa. Bosa to you, strike 3. Thank you so much for the 100. Thank you so much for the 50. First time super chatter and second time super chatter. And I think that puts him in the top 10, Jack, at some point too. So we got to add 150 for strike 3. Add 50 to Steve Ricard as our super chat top 10 for this season. If I'm Texas, I'm feeling disrespected by those rankings. Yeah, I agree. I kind of agree, right? They beat Alabama. Who's Ohio State beat? Penn State? So did Michigan. Yeah, so, see ya, Mom. Mom, see ya. Not, just off the list, Jack. Just off the list. She's still your mom. She's still your lost. All right, I got to get the helmet stickers. We are about to do our live mailbag. I do want to get a helmet sticker for Ashley Lawson, Steve, and strike 3. So let's start with strike 3. That stinks. Strike 3. You have been immortalized, as the date is the 28th. You are getting yourself 15 helmet stickers, but we'll do one so you guys don't have to watch me do that during a live show. So strike 3, I'm putting you up here right on front. Right there, strike 3. Boom, you are on the hard hat. We're going to give some of these away coming up. We should do the make sure you update the you can keep your mom in there too, Jack, if you want. We want to do 11 people for a duck race. We want to do one of those. We should do that. We should do that. There's a super chat from Jim Prindable. Add a 50 burger to his number, Jack. Jim Prindable with the 50 says young Harbaugh can use this for bail. Go blue. Bosa. Well, I don't know, Jack. We might be going to jail. We might be doing so much crazy stuff. I see you, Jim. Yeah, I mean, of course, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. Steve, I got a sticker for you. Jim, I've got 5 for you coming up. I'm going to get 1 here on the helmet. Printable 11, 28, and Ashley Lawson. Ashley. All right, we're gonna do. I'll tell you what, guys. We're gonna do is a duck race or a go-kart race. So we're gonna take the list of top super chatters from the season, which strike 3's on there. Steve, yep, that was a statement, Jack. It was a statement. Ashley Lawson, I'm putting on the helmet. I'm putting strike 3 on the helmet. Jim Printable's getting another sticker, one of 50 or 5. I'm sorry, for his $50 super chat to help Jack go to Houston. Steve as well. I'll show those right here. So there's Ashley right there in the middle. Jim Prindable, which added that one. I got messy handwriting, but Steve Reichard as well. And strike 3, I did not put his on there, did I? Oh, it's way over here. No, I did put strike 3. Where is it go? Oh, strike 3. Right there. That's right. So appreciate you guys. We got, what, $150 in the pot, right, Jack? Is that what it is? 150 Three $50 super chats for you. So you guys are contributing. We are 15% of the way there, and we've got a month to go. Send Jack to Houston. So here's what we're going to do. Big Ten Championship coming up on Saturday. These are our top 11 super chatters of the season. Jack, read off the list for me because I don't have them all in front of me. Make sure we don't miss anybody.
We have, I got to pull it up because I don't want to take us off of this screen. John Blaze, Some Guy, Jim Printable, Backroad Blue, Ashley Lawson, Ackerman DJ 2003, Josiah Kiter, Wolverine Alaska, Steve Richard or Reichart, unsure, Strike 3, New Edition, and my mom.
All right. This is the go-kart race. There's Bruce with a $100 super chat. First time super chat from Bruce. That means the beer. Let's do the beer after the race. Bruce do it afterwards. Bang from Bruce, $100. First time super chat. He didn't leave a message, but that means I've got to do another beer, which will be my third of this evening. So, should we contribute? I feel like sometimes people are like, well, I want to send Jack, but I'm going to do 2 Jacks. But, Bruce, if you want that to go to Jack, you need to type Jack in the next 60 seconds, and we can go there. Steve, Jack said it right the first time. Reichard? We're going with Reichard. Hey, Ashley, don't worry about it. You're tapped this week. We certainly appreciate everything you've done to help contribute to the show. So we'll get there. So, Bruce, the $100 super chat. I've got a beer bong coming for you, Bruce, with your name on it in a second. Let's toss Bruce on there for fun. Can we add him in there? He's right there in the cusp. We send 100 in. Might as well add one more name. Bruce, we're going to add you to the race and get there. So Michigan's got the Big Ten Championship. Assuming they win, we are going to send a Big Ten Championship Jordan brand T-shirt. So something like this, right? The Jordan logo, Michigan logo, Big Ten Champs 2023, back to back to back to whoever wins this race of our top 11 super chairs, plus our latest one with the $100 burger in Bruce. So super fun. I want to do one of these for like, a 50-50 raffle or stuff on Sunday. So I want to give you guys a little taste of what it looks like. Whoever wins this, I'm going to contact me. I'll try and contact you ASAP, and we'll get you a Jordan brand Big Ten Championship shirt coming up on Sunday. We got a lot more content to come. Mailbag coming up. Michigan, Iowa preview coming a moment or two after that. If you like what you see here, make sure you like the video. Support the show. Appreciate everything you guys do for us. We ready, Jack? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. On your marks, get set, go! And we are off to the races here. Some guy is coming up the bottom of the screen, making a move. It's John Blaze. Our number 1 super chatter is in the middle of the pack. He's about number 3, Ashley Lawson. Off to an early lead. We know early leads don't always hold here on the go-kart race on the Michigan Football Report. We got our guy Strike 3 a little bit back of the pack. Steve Reichart nose and nose with some guy for the top spot. Back row blue trying to make a move as DJ Ackerman is the back of the pack. Jim Printable back of the pack. Wolverine Alaska back of the pack. Jack, your mom, she's always been fleet of foot. I don't know if she's pressing on that gas pedal hard enough as some guy takes the commanding lead, but he even drops back. He drops. So we got Bruce Guthrie there. Coming up, our last super chatter, our last guy. Down the stretch we come. $100 to Bruce. John Blaze coming from the bottom. It's a photo finish. Ashley Lawson, John Blaze. Who was it? John Blaze wins. John Blaze comes out of nowhere. One of the great endings in, I guess it goes up there with the one from a few weeks ago, right? Photo finish. I got to watch. I got to screenshot this myself. Photo finish, Jack. Photo finish. That was electric. It went so fast. I felt like we were like at 10 seconds.
He came from off the screen.
That
back
was electric.
onto the screen.
I gotta see
and
this.
won.
I gotta see this again.
Is he even here tonight, Blaze? Are you even here tonight? I haven't seen him. He's gonna have a nice surprise.
Steven says rigged. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to rig.
I will say this one was not like 50-50 or anything. We just took the top 10 names and then top 12 names, and he's here. John's here. John's in the chat. John, you won. Hey, John, you won.
Screenshot this jacket. Photo finish. I'm rewinding on my phone so we can easily.
John just got here.
John, you beat Ashley by
a hair. That was an epic comeback. Literally off the screen. Could not see him in the final 5 seconds. Comes back and wins. That was crazy.
Wow.
You can't make it up. You literally cannot make that up.
I'm going to screenshot this, send it to you. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not what I want. Talk to people for a second, Jack, so I can.
Yeah, I mean, this was just one of the great races that you'll ever see in the history. You know, you talk about Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Lightning McQueen, but then you got John Blaze, who, my Lord, John, Steve. And Steve. Well, no, because look at what just came in.
Jack, I thought something happened.
I'm sorry.
Your girlfriend came in.
No, something did just happen. Look at the chat. Look at the chat.
Super chat. Steve with $100, $50 super chat. $200 of the fun now, Jack. There you go. $100 to John Blaze. Jake just got here. Go Blue. Steve is fine, Jen. Steve, we're just calling you Steve. We're on a first day base here. $200 in the Jack. Toss up the menu when you get a chance, Jack, too. And make sure that people know what they're contributing towards. John Blaze, we're going to add that 100 to that list, Jack. I'm going to send you that photo, Jack. And when we can, let's toss up that on a photo finish. I'm going to send it up there. Thank you so much to John Blaze. Thank you so much to Ashley Lawson, who came in second. And our guy, Steve. Steve contributing a 50 burger to send Jack back to Houston. I think I owe another beer bong, don't I? John Blaze? Well, okay. Let's do one now, then we'll do one after the next segment.
Or, I'll do some shots.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
You said the beer bong, we'll do a beer bong. So grab me one of the Blue Boys, and then I'll do one now. We'll do our mailbag, and then we'll come back and we'll do the other one. Cool. But no, just get one because I don't want it to get warm. Steve is fine. That was amazing. So we're going to toss it up on screen here, but while Jack's out there, I'm going to come around the host table. I'm gonna go like that. Put up the screen there. You guys see how close that was? John Blaze by a nose hair. Absolutely electric. I want to do another one. I like him. I want to do another one. So, Jack, when we get a chance, I think we should do another one for helmets or something like that. We'll send one of the helmets. But not right now. We'll do it after that, after the mailbag. We're going to get to the mailbag. John, you are getting, and who's the other guy? It's Bruce, right? So this is Bruce's. Update the leaderboard when you get a chance too, Jack. Make sure John Blaze. So Jack, send Jack to Houston Fun is up to $200. And then fifth away there. There he goes. There's a 50 burger for Jack from John Blaze. Our guy, update those numbers. John Blaze sends. Young Harbaugh needs to be in Houston with us. See you guys there. We're almost there, Jack. And I'll tell you what, John, if we're within striking distance, I mean, I would do it anyways but I just want to make the pledge to everyone. I'll make sure Jack gets there, right? Even if corporate's cutting back on travel in 2024, we're not cutting back on travel. We're not cutting back, Jack. We're not cutting back. We went last year. Michigan let us down. We still had to go there and sit through the damn Georgia TCU game.
I mean, we have to go see the greatest Michigan football team ever, right? I mean, that just has to happen. All right, everyone type chug in the chat. Everyone type chug in the chat right now. I'm going to get the leaderboard. I have the leaderboard updated. We'll go to that after James does his chug. Thank you, John. I'm excited to meet you in Houston. You're an absolute legend. That would be a lot of fun. Let's go, James. Chug, 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 chug. He's a madman. He's a madman.
That's just foam in there. Put that down the trash can here. That's just foam. The Send Jack to Houston Fund has got, after a good start, $250. $250. All right, there's the updated Super Chat leaderboard. John Blaze, appreciate your support. Sub guy Jim Prindable has been in the house tonight. Back row blue, Ashley's been in the house tonight. DJ Ackerman, Josiah Carter, Wolverine Alaska, Steve, our guy Steve, and now Strike 3 is up in the house. We're going to take that same crew of people, and we are going to do another go-kart race. After this, we're going to take some questions here on the Michigan football report. Now we'll do it after we do a quick read. Jack, I think we're doing Manscaped as our sponsor for next segment. What product are we pushing on Manscaped? Lawnmower 5.0. I love the Lawnmower 5.0. Ultra, yeah. Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. All right, well, let's get it rolling. You want to go to the mailbag? All right, we're going to do another race here. So, mailbag's coming up now. We're going to take your questions. Use hashtag Michigan. Just hashtag Michigan in the chat. Any question you want. We'll take 2-3 next questions. We'll probably make it on the show, as we've got like 7, 8, 9 questions right now in the hopper for this mailbag. And then we will do our Michigan Iowa preview. That segment we just did, the rumors that go up on the channel tomorrow as an on-demand cut. Also on Thursday, we will put up the preview, and then on Friday will be this mailbag that we are going to talk about right now. Michigan Football Report mailbag. Use hashtag Michigan or put this one up on the channel. Let's get it rolling right now. The Michigan Football Report is presented by Manscaped and the new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's just absolutely out of this world. Takes care of all your male grooming needs. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE, GOBLUE, no spaces, 20% off and free shipping. I want to know what you guys are thinking on this Big Ten championship game. Predict the score. Michigan, Iowa, 2023. The March for 3. We got to come up with a better term for that. 2023, going for 3. 3 straight Big Ten titles. 3 straight wins over Ohio State. Beat Ohio State again and again and again. Predict the score. $25 Venmo to the first person on. Now, if you're watching live, it's got to be on the video on Thursday. So come back on Thursday. Make sure you comment on the video because it's very easy to track on an on-demand video more than live. First person to correctly predict it on Thursday, $25 Venmo coming to you in your pocket. We've actually had a couple of these this year. People are getting a lot better predicting scores than they used to. And make sure you use hashtag Michigan to get your question on the show. Or if you're watching live, you can super chat here on Tuesday evening as we film this after the top 25 rankings are revealed from the College Football Playoff Committee. First question coming in. This one I saw earlier. I sent to Jack. We had this ready for a show next week after the season was over. So I think we just break it out right now. Who is going to leave for the draft? Who do you think is coming back in 2024? And he says, draft guys, not seniors who can't come back. Hashtag Michigan. So, Jack, before we put this up on the screen, I just want to make sure everyone understands. College football rank or eligibility, this is like, we still got a year or two with this left, is so changed because of the NCAA COVID rule, right? Guys who redshirted any season, whether they're freshman or later, who the redshirt, they get a COVID year, right? JJ McCarthy doesn't get that because he won't need it because he came in 2021. And it was in 2019 or 2020 class. They could potentially play up to 6 years because of the redshirt year and the COVID year that didn't count against eligibility. So who are the players who are out of eligibility on this team, right? Of starters, there's only 4 guys who are technically completely out of eligibility, right? Mike Sainristil has played 5 years for this team. And so he got a COVID year. He did not redshirt. He's out of eligibility. Michael Barrett, 2018 recruit, out of eligibility, redshirted, COVID year, 6 years, he's done. Cornelius Johnson did not redshirt, 5 years, extra COVID year, he is done. And then Ladarius Henderson is actually a 6-year guy, third school. He uses redshirt, he uses COVID year, 6-year player. Those are your starters who were out of eligibility. Now, who's coming back, right? Who is coming back for this team? Well, let's actually go, Jack. Let's go with who's likely to go. Okay, who is likely to go on this team, right? I've only identified 5 guys who I think are much more likely than not to go. Most of them for NFL reasons. 1 or 2 of them actually for just being around long enough. They have nothing more to prove reasons. So here are the guys I think are likely to go. I'm putting in like 75% chance likely to go pro. Chris Jenkins, he could come back next year, right? Even though he's a senior, he could come back next year. Jalen Harrell, he could come back last year. Even though he's only a redshirt junior, he has another year of eligibility. I think Jalen Harrell will go. It's just a gut feeling, but I think he's actually considering going last year. I don't think he's going to be a high draft pick. I think he's just a guy who's probably done with college football, been a multi-year starter for a top 5 program. It is with Trevor Keegan, 5th-year player, has got another COVID year of eligibility next year, but I think he's going to go. You're starting right guard. And then left guard, I think, might put right guard. Roman Wilson, 4 years. He's got a COVID year as well. And then Blake Corum, who technically, because of the COVID year, could come back. He was a freshman in 2020. He could come back, but alas, as a senior, played for 4 years. I think he will go pro instead of coming back for that 5th COVID year for him. But now, who is likely to return? Before the season started, Jim Harbaugh said Michigan could have 20 guys drafted off this team. And I think everyone interpreted that as guys who were playing this year drafted in 2024. But I don't think as many of them, because of injury and maybe subpar performance in some regards, are all going to go pro. So I think there's 6, 8, 10 guys here that likely could come back for this team that a lot of people pegged as going pro. So likely return. Rod Moore, hell of a player, right? Called game against Ohio State with that interception. Called game. Made the play on Marvin Harrison Jr. when Marvin Harrison kind of held back. Josh Wallace, 5th-year guy. He only played 4 games in 2020 and gets the COVID year for that. So he has a year of eligibility that comes back as well. Makari Page, he's got 2 years of eligibility back left, even though he's a 4th-year player. Josiah Stewart, 3rd-year player, so I think he's coming back for sure. A.J. Barner, right? Has another year of eligibility left next year, even though he's played 4 years in college football. I think he'll come back. Drake Nugent, same deal with him. Miles Hinton, same deal. And Carson Barnhart, I don't think he's had the good enough year to go pro, and so I think he's going to use his last year of eligibility, which means Michigan could have much more starters than we thought returning next year off a team that we might thought only had like 5 or 6 starters on both sides of the ball. I think you end up having like 4 or 5 starters on offense, up to 8 starters on defense from this team returning next season. But how about the toss-ups, right? These 5, I don't know either way. Zach Sinter, I think, was a guarantee to go before the season. He's a 4-year starter. Got that COVID year. Gets injured. Knee, didn't he? Was 2 broken bones. Is he going to be ready by the NFL Combine in February? He's not. Is he going to be ready by the NFL Draft in April? Maybe. So could he be, extra year fun, stay 1 more year, play again for the best offensive line in college football, and get back my draft stock, much like Blake Corum did, getting injured in the Illinois game last year. I think Zach Sinter is an interesting one. Junior Colson didn't play up to his 1st and 2nd round grade this year, so maybe he comes back. Braden McGregor, I think is one that people thought would go pro, but he actually has 2 years of eligibility, even though he's a 4th-year player, redshirt year, COVID year. JJ McCarthy, toss-up. Pro Football Focus put out their top, their big board today. Number 58 in the big board. His stock has dropped the last 3 weeks as far as NFL circles have gone kind of big time. And Donovan Edwards has not had the year that I think he thought he was going to have. He was definitely going to go pro if he was, the down 75 yards, 85 yards. Not happening. So those guys are toss-ups. If Edwards goes pro, I think it'll be Ernest Shazer level in 2004, where he might go, Shazer didn't even get drafted despite being a first-team All-American. The Don might find himself as a 5th-round draft pick. Could be out of the league. But, could be a Donovan Edwards, or what's the guy's name? Receiver, Lions. I'm just forgetting at the time. Who am I talking about? Donovan Peoples-Jones, right? Could be that 5th round for the Don and sticks around in the NFL because he is a hell of an athlete. Let me ask you guys this question. Does JJ McCarthy declare for the NFL draft? Give me a yes or a no in the comments. Y for yes, I should say, and for no. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Does JJ McCarthy declare for the 2024 NFL draft? I want to see kind of the vibe that everyone's thinking, the Michigan football faithful, as we just have, one more Big Ten game for JJ McCarthy this year. The guy is 19-0 as a Big Ten starter, the best start for a starting quarterback in conference history. I think he has a chance with the national championship to be considered the best quarterback in the history of the Big Ten. What also is the best in the history of this show and in my life, grooming myself, is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and that is from Manscaped. Guys, I want to tell you about the Lawnmower 5.0. It is the brand, Manscaped, the brand that took your balls to space, is now taking them into the Ultra sphere with the Lawnmower 5.0, which features a new cutting-edge design and next-generation dual skin-safe blade heads for different shaves. It's pretty much a spaceship to take your boys downstairs to the next level. I was lucky enough to be one of the first ones to try the new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and to say it's a game changer is an understatement. It's 5th generation trimmer from Manscaped. It's 2 next-gen interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, a standard trimmer blade for taking a little bit off the top, and a new foil blade to go down for that smooth finish wherever your heart desires. Join the 9 million, you heard me right, 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the best brand in male grooming. Believe me on this. I've got Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. I've got the little shaver, right? Little body hair all over the place. Shampoo, body wash, conditioner, deodorant. Manscaped has taken over my bathroom. Believe me when I say this, you will not be disappointed. Also disappointed with this offer. 25% off with Manscaped. Promo code GOBLUE. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE. Right? Promo code GOBLUE. No spaces. Manscaped.com. And free shipping. Get yourself the new Manscaped Ultra Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a game changer. You will love it. Get going with Manscaped and manscape your entire body. Next question coming here on the Michigan Football Report. We've got our guy, Richard Lococo, Bears fan number 1. He says, hello, guys. Do you think Michigan will be number 1 this Sunday? Only if Alabama beats Georgia. That's the only way at this point, because Georgia was number 1 Tuesday night. Michigan had a chance with 2 out of the last 3 top 10 wins. They didn't, right? They weren't number 1. Georgia continued to be number 1. The playoff committee is clearly biased for the SEC. But if Alabama beats Georgia, which happened in 2021, right? Georgia was the undefeated team. Georgia's favored in that game. Alabama got the win. That happens. Michigan pops number 1. But if not, of course, Georgia's going to have an opportunity to get another top 10 win. So there's no way they're going to drop when they have a top 10 win. And Michigan is, of course, going to go against Iowa, who is ranked number 16 in this 5th edition of the College Football Playoff Top 25. Brandon McBroom says, would you extend an offer to transfer portal QB Max Johnson? Who's Max Johnson? What school is he at? I can't remember. If I know which school Max. No, is it A&M or is it LSU? A&M? I forget. I mean, I've heard the name before. It's not A&M. I'm thinking more like a guy like. No, I wouldn't. I would not. Because he was a pretty big recruit. He's been the starter there. I'm thinking more like guys like the quarterback from Kansas State. I'm thinking the quarterback from Washington State, right? Cam Ward. I would take Utah's quarterback, although he said he's going to come back to Utah, but I don't know about that. But what's going to happen in college football going forward, I think, is players who are in top 20 programs to 40, right? That they're not going to the next level like Sam Hartman was at Wake Forest last year. They are going to look at who could I go who is going to be in the top 10 next year. And with a quarterback like me, could be a top 5 or a national championship level team. And I think going forward in college football, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, Georgia, if they don't have the guy at quarterback, it is just a transfer portal quarterback away. I think that's what Michigan's going to be doing this offseason if JJ McCarthy does not return for his senior season. Make sure you guys predict the score. We are getting a $25 Venmo to the first person on this video that's going to be published on the channel on Friday. The first person on this video to correctly predict the score. Let me know who's going to win. Michigan, say Michigan. It's got to be in before kickoff, and you cannot edit the comment at all. So if you're watching this live, go comment on Friday's video as well. Let me know your score prediction. Michigan, Iowa, Big Ten championship game. Logan Circle, longtime viewer of the show. Thank you so much for the question, Logan. He says, who would you prefer for Michigan's opponent to be in the playoff? I like saying this because you play the games. I don't like saying this because you play the games for a reason. I would like it to be Florida State. Then the backup quarterback, from what I saw against Florida, he kind of stinks. And that'd be Michigan's easiest shot to the national title game. Now, outside of Florida State, I think Washington or Texas would be my next 2 choices. After that, Ohio State, Oregon right there, or Alabama maybe. I think Alabama's more talented overall than Michigan, but their quarterback situation with Jalen Milroe makes me think that Michigan would be able to handle them. The 2 teams I don't want to see in the first round, I think they present the biggest challenge to Michigan. Not saying Michigan can't beat them, but the 2 I would least likely to see would be Georgia, of course, and Oregon, because they've been playing, I think, over the last 5 weeks, probably since the loss to Washington, Oregon's been playing the best of any team in college football. If they beat Washington, they're going to be in the playoffs. So I would probably say Oregon, Washington, which I hope don't. But if everything shakes out like I think it'll shake out coming up this weekend, which means Florida State loses, Oregon beats Washington, doesn't matter what happens to Texas probably at that point, I think Michigan's going to end up facing Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and Georgia then would face Texas, would you think, right? Texas probably in the Sugar Bowl if that scenario shakes out. Steve, our guy Steve, we're not even going to try and pronounce the last name. He's our guy Steve here. He's a first-name guy at this point. Am I not so sure Blake be a Heisman candidate with 22 touchdowns and almost 900 yards? Now, I looked this up a couple days ago. Despite Steve's question came in just now in live, I did look this up a couple days ago, and Blake Corum was like 64th. This is tied for the 64th most touchdowns in a single season in the history of college football. Very good. And he still got Big Ten championship up to 2 more games. So 2 to 3 touchdowns a game right now for Blake Corum. He could end up getting close to 30, right? Maybe 27, 28, 29, 30, which will put him in like the top 20, 25 all time. Now, crazy enough, Jack, how many touchdowns, off the top of your head, Jack, how many touchdowns over 3 games would Blake Corum have to average, or just get in total 3 games, for him to tie Barry Sanders in 1988, the college football record? How many?
Well, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head the record. He's at what, 25?
22.
22?
22.
Okay, well, I'm just going to completely take a shot in the dark here. I'm going to say 3?
3 touchdowns per game? So
Yeah.
9 more touchdowns?
9 more
So
touchdowns.
put him at 31. You're not even close. 5 a game. Barry Sanders in only 11 games, Jack, right? 37 touchdowns in 1988. Won the Heisman. He got like 290 yards a game, which is, I mean, the crazy stat numbers. So I agree, yes, but then I was, Steve, we're connected. We have a connection between our brains, because I was like, why isn't Blake getting more Heisman love? I know the yards aren't there, right? 800, 900 yards. Last year was like 1450 around this time. So I was thinking the same thing. Even though he didn't play in the Ohio State game, he was still over 1,400 yards. But when I went back and looked at like the touchdown leaders in college football history, there was all kinds of running backs up there. The running back from Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins, Monty Ball, all these guys that didn't even sniff the Heisman top 2 or top 3. And so it's like, well, it's only running backs who end up in the top 2, 3, and 4 in the Heisman who have 24, 25, 26, 27 touchdowns, added with 17, 18, 1,900 yards, like a Toby Gerhardt, who's the running back for the Titans, I'm forgetting at the moment, Derrick Henry, guys like that. Touchdowns plus the yards, that gets you the win or the second place. If you just have the touchdowns or you just have the yards, that's when you end up at like 7th place, 6th place, et cetera, like that. Or you're just an absolute generational freak like Reggie Bush was, where you do it from passing, catching, running, receiving, touchdowns, and punt returns. So unfortunately, unless Blake Corum breaks off 295 yards against Iowa, does the same thing again, I guess one last game. So against that, he's not going to get much Heisman love. He might, though, sneak into the top 10 if he gets 2 or 3 touchdowns against Iowa coming up on Saturday night. Guys, we are getting close to 30,000 subscribes. Give me a subscribe on this video. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Let's get to 30,000. I don't know, by next week? We get there by next week. Transfer portal opens next week. Opens on Monday. Let's get it up. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers before Monday. We have 6 days to do so. We'll need 570 more to do that. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. Send that link. We put it in the live chat. We'll put it down in the comments in the description. Send it to your friends who love Michigan football. Danny Wolverine says, before this weekend's games, make your playoff matchup predictions. This is another one I saw early in the show. I tagged it. I sent it, make sure Jack saw it, so he had my predictions. Let's take a look at the rankings, right? The Tuesday night rankings. Before I give my playoff predictions, Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Washington 3, and Florida State 4. Now, if everything shakes out, if those 4 teams win, that's probably the rankings, right? That's probably what it's going to shake out and end up being. But what if Oregon beats Washington? What if Texas wins? What if Florida State loses, etc.? Here are my playoff predictions. I think Texas is going to beat Oklahoma State. I think Georgia is going to beat Alabama. And I think Oregon is going to beat Washington. And as such, Florida State is going to lose to Louisville. So this is what I think the college football playoff will look like. Number 1 Georgia versus number 1 Texas in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. And then a traditional Rose Bowl matchup. Michigan number 2 versus Oregon number 3. I think Michigan win that game. I am a little fearful that Dan Lanning comes from that. It's this, Jack, right? It's Bill Parcells, protege Nick Saban. I'm sorry, Bill Parcells, protege Bill Belichick, protege Nick Saban, protege Kirby Smart, protege Dan Lanning. Those guys don't lose big games, and he is the coach of Oregon. So that is the greatest college football football coaching tree of history. It's a game I don't want to see happen, but I do think Michigan can win it. But Jim Harbaugh and this coaching staff, damn it, you need to make sure this is your Ohio State win the friggin' game plan, because you came in with no game plan 2 years ago against Oregon. And then last year, for some reason, you just took TCU for granted. If it's this matchup, it's in the Rose Bowl. Michigan will probably be about 45% of the crowd. Oregon, about 55% of the crowd. Michigan needs to come up with a game plan, the likes of which we've never seen, because this Oregon offense is so damn good right now. But that's my prediction for the CFB as we stand here on Tuesday night, or watching this on Friday before the college football conference championship games. Who do you guys want to play in the college football if you're a Michigan football fan? Who do you want to play in the playoff, right? Round 1 semifinals, not the national title game, in the semis. Who's the team that you're looking forward to playing? I go on playing Michigan to win, and so my top ones go, I want to play Florida State first because of the quarterback position, Texas second because they're Texas and I think they're soft. They're Ohio State of the South. Number 3 would probably be Washington, because I think a pass-happy team, Michigan understands how to beat that from the C.J. Stroud, Coldridge Stroud days of Ohio State. And then 4th there, I would take Alabama. Those are 4 I would play in order. And then not want to play would be Georgia and Oregon. 3rd and Nate. I'm guessing the guy's name is Nate, but a little playing his game. Do y'all think Harbaugh is gone next year from all the drama of the season, or is he going to stay? What do you think? I think he's back. I do. I don't think Jim Harbaugh is the kind of guy who wants to run with his tail between his legs. I think he's felt a lot. I've heard Harbaugh say this so many times, 2010, 2015, 2020, all these different times he's had a coaching decision to make, or someone wants to recruit him to be their coach. He's used the term feel the love. I didn't feel the love from Dave Brandon in 2010 and going into 2011. Didn't feel the love when I went to the 49ers, right? I felt the love when Michigan was trying to get me to replace Brady Hoke in December of 2014. Right? I didn't feel love after a 2-4 season in 2020, but I didn't have any options, so I signed a contract to be less. I think Michigan has felt the love. The Board of Regents, Santa Ono, everybody at the university, the fans have rallied behind him. The players have rallied behind him. I think he feels love. He doesn't want to walk out with his tail between his legs, like kind of ducking an NCAA suspension or something like that, which may unfortunately come in next season. My guy, Daniel Vanderbunt, the Vanderbunt boys, they are hot on the streets on Twitter. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate watching the show. Apparently, Georgia's wins over the ranked teams, even if they were in the top 10, are more impressive than Michigan's recent wins over number 10 Penn State, number 6 Ohio State. That's laughable, but that's what they're saying. I agree, Jack. It's kind of crap, right? If you look at the eye test, Michigan wins the eye test. Maryland game, I get you. 11 or 12 games, Michigan wins the eye test. You get big wins, Michigan wins that. So what do you take here, Jack?
Well, I just think, like you said, you look at the body of work. Every Michigan game that's been won, besides maybe Maryland, has been a dominating win. And you could argue Penn State as well. It's been a dominating win. Don't look at the score on Saturday. If you watch that game back, Michigan dominated Ohio State.
Yeah.
So, and then you look at Georgia's, and there's close games. They barely eked out a win against Georgia Tech on Saturday.
Yep.
So not only just the resume of having more highly rated wins, but just the way they're winning these games. Michigan has, 1, the better resume, in my opinion, and 2, the more dominating performances against the teams they should beat. So I don't know. I don't want to call SEC bias because that's kind of cheap, but what is it? I think Michigan has the better resume. I think they dominate their opponents.
If you're a reasonable person, if you're I don't say unreasonable, but if you're a biased fan, you'd be like, well, they're the defending champions the last 2 years. They should be number 1 until they lose. That's the only thing I come up with. I
guess, yeah. I don't know.
Thank you so much to Daniel Vanderbunt for the questions. Also, thanks for the support on Twitter, Daniel. I see you, and I think it's your brother, showing the love there on the Twitter sphere, aka X, which is called apparently right now. Guys, if you're not there, I am at James Yoder on Twitter. For those of you watching on the live stream, I'll put that in the live stream as well. But go follow me on Twitter, aka X, at James Yoder. I'm tweeting about 10, 25 to 100 times on Michigan football inside info, our show stuff, and then, of course, I take shots at Ohio State fans all the friggin' time at James Yoder on Twitter. All right, Jack, I sent you the photo of the photo finish. Toss it over on the channel when you get a chance. Guys, I put the Twitter handle in the live chat. I want to do one more duck race, Jack, I think. So John Blaze is getting a Big Ten championship shirt, right? Keep him in it. And let's do another one when you get a chance, Jack, with we'll show the photo first. We'll do another one with for a hard hat. Dominic Francello, we got one coming for you. We got one for Steve, I think, right? Was the other one. And whoever wins this next duck race, we'll do it as well. If you like the duck race, you have fine. We're gonna do a duck race for Michigan football helmet on Sunday, as long as we get. I think it's gonna be. We'll do not Michigan football. We'll do a 50-50 duck race. 50-50 duck race. So $10. We'll do a Venmo, so YouTube doesn't take their 30% cut. Here's the photo finish, right? Here is the photo finish. I'll step aside. Toss that at full screen if you can, Jack, too. I'll step aside, even though my face looks like I've got punched by somebody. Toss this one full screen, and we will show you guys what this looks like. That is the photo finish. This is Yoder and Yoder reception. Watch this. Yoder. There you go. Look at that. John Blaze, Ashley Lawson, no time on the clock. Boom. Josiah Kiter, Chris Latteray, strike 3. Coming in from the back, Bruce Guthrie. What a race. That was exciting. Iowa Beer Bong. We won't do it yet, Jack. We're going to make sure we're there, but we're going to do one. So whoever wins this one, I'm going to send this hard hat from the last 2 weeks. No, this is the one that's got the blend. So not the one I want to send. I'll find the one I want to send. It's maybe it's this one. I had one that was what's that? Maybe you know the one. Yeah, we'll send a hard hat, but I'll give some shout outs. Choco Bear, A-Train 132, Dominic Franchillo, Jim Prindle, Ashley Lawson, John Blaze, Thomas Crawford, Strike 3, Roscoe Truman, King K, Derek Ackerman, Cool Moti, Net Meg. I haven't seen Net Meg in a couple weeks, right? Let's see here. Choco Bear and others. Chad Ode, some guy. We will get that bad boy into the thing. So whoever wins this one, I'm going to send them one of these helmets. I'll make sure their name will be on it as well. Jacksonville Zoe, my guy. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks as well. Michigan should be number 1 this week. I agree with everything you say there, Jacksonville. If Georgia wins the SEC, they should move back to number 1. That's what it should have been. That would have actually created more drama among the fans. Like, that would have been like, Georgia fans have been mad, Michigan fans have been happy. I think this is like, they need a commissioner of the college football. I think it should be me. But it won't be.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I just make this decision. I'm just saying the fan.
Yeah, and then I'm co-commissioner. Like, it makes sense. Like, do the right thing.
Like
well, like, and it's like that. What Jacksonville Zoe says makes sense, because then you're beating, what were they, number 8 Alabama. I mean, that's an impressive win. So it's like,
yep,
that would have made sense.
Yep, totally agree. Let me fix my cord here, Jack, and then once we get this race done, I owe John Blaze another beer bong. We'll do that. We'll do a Michigan Iowa preview. So you guys ready for the race? I am not. Thanks to Jacksonville Zoe for that. We can't do the studios coming down. The head of the studio saying we got to get 25 comments before cancel. If you want the race to start, type me in the comments. When we get 25 people to type me, we will start the race, and then we will do our Michigan Iowa preview. So type me in the chat with the race start. Get the chat rate up. You guys understand, YouTube looks at the chat rate. If the chat rate stays high, they're going to give this to more Michigan football fans in their YouTube feed, and of course their audience will grow. So we ask you guys to help us with the chat rate. Logan Zirkle, Phil Betts, Steve, R.I. Davis, Strike 3 with a me, Ashley Lawson with a me and a heart, Jacksonville Zoe with the $10 super chat. You're back in the helmet again. I think you already are, but you are back in the streets. Give me another me, R. Davis, Phil, Strike 3, Death Dynasty, Jim Prindable with a me. Get 10 more me's as I'm giving Jacksonville Zoe his Jacksonville Zoe 1128. Got you covered. Jacksonville Zoe. Helmet is over here. You're going right next to our guy, Chad Ode, and some guy in Jacksonville Zoe and Chad Ode. Jacksonville, I got you, my man. I really appreciate you. You've been a long-time supporter of the show, and we don't take that for granted in any way, shape, or form. $10 super chat coming in from Jacksonville Zoe. Thank you so much. You got another hard hat helmet, and of course, you are immortalized on multiple Michigan Football Report end screens. Jack, we're going to do this thing? We're going to do it? Okay. Another Super Chat race. This one is getting a helmet. I'm saying it to you. So if you win and you're watching, DM me on Twitter or Instagram. If I don't have your address already, we'll send you a hard hat. If you're not watching, we'll remind me, Jack, on Sunday or Saturday night. I'll make sure we kind of have a plug for those people to do that at that point. Let's get it rolling. Top 11 Super Chatters, including Strike 3, who just joined the party tonight. Top 11 Super Chatters on the show this season. Let's see who's going to win a Michigan Football Report hard hat, because this is a hard hat show, right? We put in hard damn work. Start your engines. On your mark. Get set. Go! And we're off to the races. John Blaze going for back-to-back. Back-to-back. We're going back-to-back. Back-to-back. John Blaze is off there in the lead. He has got himself a nice, healthy lead. But Ashley Lawson, it's the same two. It's the two winners last time. First place, second place, Ashley Lawson. John Blaze, but Jim Printable is making some noise. He's making a move. I see Strike 3 at the top. Steve, Wolverine, Alaska. Josiah Carter. DJ Ackerman making a move in the middle of your screen. John Blaze taking a step back because Jim Printable is now in first place. 22 seconds left. Printable's got the lead. DJ Ackerman is coming up in the middle of the screen. Now Ackerman to the lead. DJ Ackerman to the lead, followed by Josiah Carter. It's a two-man race. They both take a step back. Who is going to make a move? DJ Ackerman. 5, 4, 3. Background blue. 2. Jim Printable. Jim Printable. Strike 3. Strike 3 for the win. Strike 3. Did he get it? Did he get it? Strike 1. Strike 3 for the win. Out of nowhere. Strike 3 for the win. Jim Printable. Strike 3. Ashley Lawson comes in third place. I saw that. Back row blue. Wolverine, Alaska. Steve, some guy. DJ Ackerman. John Blaze comes in last place. Josiah Carter in 9th. Blaze wins 1. Last place the next. He had a hot lead there in the first part of the race, Jack. And then, once we got about 20 seconds in, he fell off a little bit. So, Strike 3. Whoa, my hair's all messed up there. Strike 3. You're new to the show. If you're still watching, there you go, Strike 3. Send me, I'll put it in the live chat, a DM, or just comment on a video like, hey, I'm Strike 3 with your social media, because if you do that, we can make sure we've been scammed before, Jack. We have been scammed. People say, hey, it's me, Strike 3. Here's my address. We sent a couple people the wrong, the wrong person a giveaway before. So there is my Twitter in the live chat, Strike 3, and there is Instagram. Put the Instagram one more time. Put the Twitter. I'll have to verify somehow. We'll probably ask you to make a comment or something like that on a video. But there it at. DM me. We'll get your address. As my hair is all messed up. Look at them. Got screens there. And we'll send you one of our hard hats with your name on it. I really appreciate that. And that was exciting. I love these races. Like if you were to tell me like what my job, like, hey James, we got a few jobs for you. It was like be a garbage man, be I don't know, what's some other jobs? Oh, there you go. Jack, slack that to me if you can. I'll slack it to you so we don't forget. Sucks. Okay, I'm gonna DM you right after that. There you go, Jack. Boom, right there on Twitter. Gosh, it is 7:14 in the Central, 8:14. We've been live for an hour and 44 minutes. We haven't even got to our Michigan Iowa preview yet, but we owe John Blaze a beer bong. Wait, did John Blaze come with another $100 super chat one before? Never mind. Sometimes the super chats move around without you even knowing. Do you notice that? All right, Michigan Iowa preview coming up. That Cade McNamara. I like Cade McNamara a lot when he's here. I thought that he did a lot for the program. I think he had an opportunity to probably transfer in 2020 when the program was in shambles. He gave that great speech after the Rutgers win. He led the comeback from Rutgers. And he was the guy. He was the quarterback that got a Michigan a win they needed. There's a program-changing win. It's a program-changing win over Coleridge Stroud, who could be the NFL MVP this year. Now he's talking some trash. But I don't mind him doing what he said he was going to do. I just don't know why he's to say it out loud. So give me some chugs in the comments. I'm going to do another one. Another beer bong. Give me a couple chugs in the comments. Check
chug,
this. I feel like every time I
chug,
pull this thing up, I feel like it's leaking a little bit.
chug,
Make sure it doesn't happen.
Chug. There it goes. Strike 3 says he's going to the Big Ten championship game. Wow, words.
Shit.
Who knows? Maybe I'll show up in Houston. Strike 3, if you show up in Houston, let us know. James will be there. I might be there. If we
$750 more.
$750 more.
Jack, give me one of these. I think I spilled a little bit when not beer, foam. Yeah, on this. I don't want the cleaning people to yell at me or anything, so I'm gonna clean it up really quick. Have it next to the trash can. We're back. All right. Michigan Iowa preview. Ready? Woo. Strike 3. I've got Sox beat Cubs. Clearly a Chicago guy. I will DM you later tonight. Get your address. We'll send you off a Michigan Football Report hard hat. Jack, give me 2 seconds to just make sure I find my spot on tonight's script, and we will get this bad boy. Rolling. Ooh, make sure we got the Michigan's wear number 2 in the CFP, right? That's oh no, never mind. That's something else. Iowa preview, Michigan, Iowa. Let's get rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. You doing a video this time or no? We're doing an intro video, or we're not doing it? No. All right. Well, let's get rolling. On your command, Young Harbaugh, aka Jack Lotteray. We've done this for the last 3 seasons. I think it's the most foolproof thing in all of American life, in all of sports, guaranteed. In Michigan is 34 of 35, and we have done this call to action on our previews. If you'd like Michigan to beat Iowa, just like we started back in September of 2021, if you'd like Michigan to beat Wisconsin, first time we did this, like this video. Don't jinx it. Don't be sitting there on Saturday night, 10:45 p.m., sitting there by yourself, wallowing and saying, I didn't like that video from Yoder, and Michigan lost. It's my fault because YouTube provides us with a list. Likers, viewers, I'm coming for you. I'll ban you for show for life. Put the good vibes. Smash it. Michigan, Iowa preview. Let's get this bad boy rolling. And this is a team that we thought might be the Big Ten West champs when the season started. But it wasn't because they would have their starting quarterback and their best offensive player injured mid-season and not even playing, but somehow because of terrible offensive play that just plays into their amazing defense, Michigan is facing a 10-2 Iowa that's only a ref's call away from being 11-1 and maybe have an outside chance at the college football playoff. They're 10-2. They're 7-2 in the Big Ten. They lost big time to Penn State, 31-0, and they lost a game to Minnesota where the refs called a fair catch on a punt return with about a minute and a half left. But it's one of the worst offenses of all time. 121st in college football, 18 points a game. Scoring defense, 12 points a game. Number 4, of course, Michigan is number 1. Wolverines at 37.5 points per game on offense are number 13. 8 o'clock Saturday night on Fox Eastern, and then total is 35.5 is the over-under. Michigan is favored by 23 points. How about that, Jack? 35.5-point over-under, probably one of the lowest in conference championship history. And Michigan's favored by 23. If that tells you what the Big Ten, the Vegas odds think of Iowa, it's this. It's that Iowa's over-under for points, right? You can bet on how much a team will score themselves. The over-under for points scored for Iowa in this game is 6.5. I shit you not. Let's take a look at their schedule so far this season. They start off the season with Utah State, beat them 24-14. They also got the win 20-13 over cross-state rival Iowa State. You notice the theme here coming up. They don't score very many points. They don't give up many points. Western Michigan, 41-14. Okay, they scored a few points. But then the 4th week, September 23rd, they faced Penn State. And I lost money on this one because I thought, okay, there's a 14-point spread. I'm like, Penn State's that's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be like 21-10 or something like that. Nope, 31-0. Michigan State, they beat them 26-16. They beat Purdue 20-14. Second half of the season, 15-6 against Wisconsin. Now this game's important. Middle of the season. Also, Eric All goes out in this game. They lose to Minnesota 12-10. All right, that was a game where they ran a punt back with a minute and a half left. And because the guy was like pointing or something like that, the refs called the field. Oh no! That was a fair catch. We're taking the ball back, and ultimately Iowa couldn't stick it in. They got routed with that win against Minnesota. Beat Northwestern 10-7, and they have set the record for lowest over-runners in college football history. I think 3 straight weeks. Rutgers 22-0, Illinois 15-13, and Nebraska 13-10. That is the season results from your 2023 Iowa Hawkeyes, formerly led by Cade McNamara, formerly led by Eric All. And we'll talk about both those guys here in a moment. But the things I need to see from Michigan this week, I've got 3 things that I need to see. Iowa, Ohio State last week, and Penn State 2 weeks ago. It'll be 3 weeks ago on Saturday night. These are the closest defenses that Michigan is going to see to a Georgia defense, right? A defense that Michigan is going to face in a college football playoff or national championship game. Georgia or others, right? High-level defense. Can Michigan dominate? Because they haven't done it lately, right? Last 2 big games, right? Penn State and Ohio State, the 2 defenses of this caliber that Michigan's faced, like Iowa. JJ McCarthy has kind of been just average. I know he had a really kind of productive game, some great plays against Ohio State. Didn't throw it all in the second half against Penn State. These are his combined stats. These aren't per game. These are combined. 23 of 28. So, okay, cool. That's about 80% there. But 208 passing yards combined, 140-something versus Ohio State, 60-something versus Penn State, 1 touchdown, only 1 touchdown in the month of November for J.J. McCarthy, no interceptions. So I need to see a Michigan offense from the first 10 games, 8, 9, 10 games of the season, pre-Penn State, so 9 games out of this team. No, I guess it would be, 9 games. Because we have not seen it the last 3 weeks. They really were kind of just like, get the win and get out of here against Penn State. Mediocre at best against Maryland, and then good at times, but not dominant in the stat card, passing or rushing against Ohio State. But I'll ask you guys this question: predict the score, Michigan, Iowa. Let's see some score predictions. I want to know what you guys are thinking. What did I make my score prediction? 31-0, I think. My score prediction is Michigan's gonna win this one, 31-0, but it might only be like 17-0, 14-0 at halftime. Michigan will come out with authority in the third, put a touchdown or 2 on the board. And then J.J. McCarthy and some other stars will sit. 31-0 is my score prediction. Number 2 thing I need to see out of this team is life without Zach Zinter. He's out for the season. Broke his fibula, his tibula. Maybe I'm saying those reversed, whatever it is. Terrible thing, right? And I was actually kind of like, I won't say I cried, but like I was like, damn, this is like tough to listen to, like in a like heartening way and in a good way. Is Joel Klatt's podcast, right? It's on YouTube, of course. It's on Apple Podcast on Monday. He told the story, Jack, of went to commercial break and how he was about to cry during the game. It's just like, I was saying, like, you got injury. Like, Zach Zinter came back. He could have been a second-round draft pick last year. He came back for another year. His last home game, maybe he'll come back now because he has another year of eligibility. But Klatt says he's almost in tears during the game, just thinking about what this meant to this guy's future. And then the fact that the entire Michigan Stadium just started saying, let's go, Zach. Let's go, Zach. And he's carted off the field, and that kind of brought back the Michigan players, right? And what does this mean for this team going forward? Are they going to be able to put it together without a guy I think you could realistically say is one of the 2 or 3 leaders of this team? He's a captain. He's a 4-year starter. It's tough to say, right? Now, on the other side of injuries, I wouldn't expect Will Johnson to play in this one. I think Michigan doesn't need him. They know they don't need him. This Iowa passing attack is badly, absurdly bad. And, I'll tell you what, like, just we count on the Joel Klatt story. I'm like, man, that's like an emotional thing for us too. He got emotional on his podcast. Life without Zach Zinter. Move Carson Barnhart over to right guard. You move Trente Jones in from the bench to the right tackle position. So I'm going to be interested to see what Michigan looks like without one of their leaders, the captains, the best offensive lineman in Zach Zinter. We shall see here coming up on Saturday against Iowa. Let's see if we have any changes with Jim Harbaugh back on the sideline. Now, as far as Will Johnson is concerned, before we kind of go to the next part of the show, I wouldn't expect Will Johnson to play on Saturday. So just something to keep in mind if you're a fan. Will Johnson, lower leg injury on Saturday against Ohio State. I don't think he's injured permanently or long-term, but I think Michigan's going to hold Will Johnson out of this game because I don't think they need him, and they don't want him to re-injure like something that's kind of minor turning into something major, and I wouldn't expect to see him. So don't be surprised if Michigan's maybe best defender, maybe a guy who'll be drafted in the top 5 in the 2025 draft, Will Johnson, is not in the lineup coming up on Saturday against Iowa. Did also want to tell you guys about Prize Picks, the Michigan Football Report presented by Prize Picks, where it's just you versus the numbers. They might say, JJ McCarthy, 201 passing yards, 21 and a half passing yards. We have more or less. All you got to do is make that choice more or less. You can mix and match sports. You can get a reboot policy, so if a player gets injured in the first half of a game where you have him as prize picks, he doesn't return in the second half, doesn't matter, pulls out of the selection, and your prize pick selection moves on and continues to play. It's daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 up to 6 players, and you get a return on your money by picking more or less. Here's my Thursday Night Football picks, all right? Cowboys, Seahawks, Geno Smith, Tony Pollard, Brandon Aubrey. I'm going less on Geno Smith. 228.5 yards in this Cowboys defense. Less. Tony Pollard, he's getting the end zone more than half a touchdown passing, rushing, or receiving. And then Brandon Aubrey. All right, I think 1.5 field goals. He's going to put 2 field goals. He's going to put 3 field goals. I'm going more, okay? I put $5 on this. I win 15, right? I can put up to 10. Win that. Prize Picks is awesome. It's super, super, super easy to play. I get my picks in Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, College Football Saturdays, NFL Sundays in under 60 seconds. Plus, with code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS. It's down in the comments in the description of the video. It's in the live chat. If you use that code and that link, they will match you up to a $100 deposit match. So you put in $50, you get an extra $50. $100, an extra $100. Put some extra money in. Don't put $100 in, $50 in, and just lose and you got a money etc. Make sure you get this deposit match. Use Prize Picks. It's super fun. I've enjoyed it all season. Jack, you enjoyed Prize Picks all season? I have liked it a lot. And I've never been a daily fantasy guy. There's competitors of Prize Picks that people have used around me. I've never found interesting. It's more or less. How easy is that? prizepicks.com/CLNS. Up to $100 deposit match with code CLNS. Third thing I am needing to see on Saturday is he is back, and that is Jim Harbaugh, Michigan's football coach, the leader of this team. He's back in the field. 6-game suspension. In your face, Ohio State fans, watch this. In your face, Ohio State fans, Michigan State fans, Notre Dame fans, whoever wants to talk trash about this team. You didn't necessarily need him, and that's good leadership from Jim Harbaugh. That's good leadership by these seniors and these veterans of this team. But is anything going to change? Right? I'm just looking for that. Is anything going to change from this team? I think if you look back to Rutgers, the 4th game of the season, Michigan kind of looked tentative and mediocre the first half or so against Rutgers. What's going to change against Iowa with Jim Harbaugh back in the field? I hope they come out absolutely firing on all cylinders. The best this offense has been this year has been the games Jim Harbaugh has been the head coach, and I certainly hope that continues to be the case. If Michigan looks mediocre or struggles, that's actually kind of not a great sign for the college football playoff. Now let's turn our attention to our opponent on Saturday, and that is the Iowa Hawkeyes. Somehow this team is 10-2. They fired the coach's son, right, Brian Ferentz, for being the worst offensive coordinator of all time mid-season. But he's still there. He's still coordinating this team. And without Cade McNamara, who is injured for the season, they have turned to Deacon Hill. I'll be honest here, I had never heard of Deacon Hill before he started playing football for Iowa as a starting quarterback a while back. I don't know much about him. He's got kind of a crazy little haircut there. That's pretty much all I can say about him. But nevertheless, he's a California kid, and he took over for Cade McNamara when McNamara went down with injury around mid-season because Cade and Eric All, they were the leaders of this Michigan football team 2 years ago in 2021. Both guys got hurt last year. We all know this, and lost their jobs, right? Cade got hurt, but also lost his job. Eric All just was kind of losing his job to Luke Schoonmaker, who's doing a good job in the NFL right now for the Cowboys, and of course, Colson Lovin. And there just wasn't a spot for Eric All to come back and be a contributor at a high level on this 2023 team. So they took it together. Both went over to Iowa. Cade McNamara's done some media. He probably thinks he has a career in media after his football playing days are over. Here's a quote he said on Iowa podcast, Talking Hawks podcast. He says, I think this week specifically, I'm not just getting Deacon Hill ready. I'm getting the entire team ready as much as I can because I know so much about, and he wouldn't say Michigan here, Jack. He did not say Michigan the entire episode. He said that other team from a defensive standpoint, from an offensive standpoint. I'm just doing everything I possibly can from an entire team standpoint to let these guys know everything I possibly know. And people who left Cade McNamara, what a jerk, what is this? Or I even saw College Football Report on Twitter and some of these kind of aggregator Twitter accounts big news. Cade McNamara says he's going to do everything he can to help Iowa beat Michigan. Why the hell wouldn't he? I have no problem with this quote. Like if I was on a team, as an NFL player, they traded me to another team, and I knew that by my other team, like I'm on this team now. I want to win the game against my old team. Like that's not a big quote. I don't think it's bad. I kind of wish Cade would not have said it on a podcast. Like do it, but don't broadcast it because you're just kind of bringing on more hate from Michigan football fans who kind of have a sour taste in their mouth. How you left the program, you jumped on the Jordan Palmer podcast back in January, February, talked some trash about Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. I think it's just poor taste by Cade McNamara, who unfortunately has shown a record of poor taste over the last 12 months since he's left this Michigan football program. Iowa's got a couple running backs. They're both okay. They've scored 4 touchdowns combined. All right. 11. So if you put this together, you've got a decent running back. You've got 1,200 plus yards or so. You got 4 touchdowns. You got a couple of long runs there. But I don't think that LaShawn Williams or Caleb Johnson are super great, but they both have game-breaking ability. From what I can tell, Williams is probably more of the Thunder, Johnson more of the Lightning. But this Iowa offense overall, like I recorded I went in YouTube TV. I've got all their Big Ten and 60, right? So I've watched like the last 3 or 4 games since 2 weeks ago when they clinched the Big Ten West. So we've had 10 days since that's happened. So I've watched 3 or 4 of the games on Big Ten in 60, and they just stink. This is one of the worst Power 5 offenses of all time. I just can't understand how they are 10-2, and they should be 11-1. They were robbed of a game. A guy runs over, just kind of pointing to his teammates, and they said he did a fair catch against Minnesota. He ran it back. They should be 11-1. This is offense from 40 years ago they play. Their defense is good, though. This defense is so dang good. Before we talk about the defense, before we talk about the rest of this offense, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. It's at James Yoder. I'm putting out Michigan football content on Twitter every single day. We've grown the Twitter account from like 11,000 followers to nearly 14,000 over the last 2 or 3 months. So appreciate everyone who's followed already. If you've yet to do so, link is in the comments description, but just at James Yoder there on Twitter. Now, let's take a look back at this Iowa offense one more time before we switch it up to defense. They're receiving leaders right now. Look at these pedestrian numbers. 227 yards, 128 yards, 142 yards. Those are the top 4 guys as far as catches and yards. Wait a second. Jack, who's that third guy right there? Eric All? 21 catches, 290 yards. That's Michigan's Eric All. And leading them in touchdowns? Eric All has been out since the second quarter of their game on October 14th. Their sixth game, maybe 7th game of the season. He's been out since October 14th. He's still leading them in yards and touchdowns at a tight end position. Eric All leading Iowa in touchdowns and yards. It is what it is. If Michigan gives up a touchdown to this team, I'll be sorely disappointed in Jesse Minter and his entire 2 deep on the Michigan football defense. I'll be disappointed in you if you don't subscribe to the channel now, as if you haven't yet, we're coming up on a 3rd Big Ten championship in 48 hours from when you may be watching this on Thursday, guys. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers. We're at 29,430. YouTube.com/MichiganTV. Hit that sub button below the video. If you're already subscribed, you'd like to see, send that link to a friend. The defense, though, right? Offense, right, is not the issue for Michigan to stop the offense. I don't think if Michigan even watched film on offense of Iowa, if they even never prepared for them, I would be lucky to score 10 points. It is this defense. It's up there with Ohio State, Penn State, even Michigan as one of the best defenses, in all of college football. 7th best against yards, right? 9th best against the pass, 16th best against the rush, and they are the number 4 scoring defense in the country. Michigan's number 1, right? Ohio State's number 2. Indiana is number 4. But I'll tell you what, regardless of those defenses, I will still take Michigan's defenses all day. I'll take them over Georgia's. I'll take them over Alabama's. I'll take them over Iowa's, Penn State's, Ohio State's. I think Michigan's defense is the best in college football. I think it's the best defense in Michigan football history. I think this is the best defense. This 2023 defense of Michigan is the best defense in the history of the Big Ten. The numbers don't prove me wrong, because these numbers, some of them were bad. Passing was up there, et cetera, rushing, dropped out of the top 10. But you find me a Big Ten defense that after 12 games is number 2 in total defense, number 4 in pass defense, number 6 in rush defense, and number 1 in total points scored. That is absolutely absurd. Jesse Minter, where'd you come from? What'd you do? Because you are just, I just hope you stay at Michigan for more than a couple of years. 2022, 2023, Jesse Minter, welcome you into my life because this Michigan defense has been a pleasure to watch. And they're going to get done Saturday night. Shutout of Iowa. All right, they held Iowa to what? 7 points or 3 points? What was it? It was like 42-7 a couple of years ago. I think this one's not as good for Michigan on offense, better on defense. I've got Michigan 31-0. But let's not forget, 3 Bosas in a row for Michigan to beat Ohio State again. I want you guys to make a deal with me. Never stop commenting Bosa on our videos. There's about 200-300 of you that comment Bosa at least once a week on our videos. If you watch this, beat Ohio State again. It's a political slogan from 2020, and Michigan has gone 4 straight college football seasons and 3 straight wins without losing because of this chance. I'm not taking credit for it. I want you to take credit for it. Never stop commenting Bosa. Give me 3 Bosas. You watch this right now, comment Bosa 3 times to commiserate the 3 wins over Ohio State. And while we're there in the live chat, baby, is Michigan win the national title? I've been calling it since January. I've been calling it since the loss to TCU. Yes, they will. Yes. Comment yes. Right? Comment yes. I see the Bosas. Keep those rolling too. But I think Michigan's going to win the national title. I really do. Sam Strupa, I see you. Strike 3. Our guy in the top 10. Getting a Michigan football hard hat. Sam, strike 3. Thomas Crawford. Thomas Crawford, I just called your name earlier. You heard that guy, Thomas Crawford. Appreciate seeing you back here. Phil, Bats, Sean, Paul, Anthony, Logan Zirkle, Zaire saying yes. Zaire, you're the man. Death Dynasty. Offense is offensive for Iowa. I agree with that. Death Dynasty. Rich is where you watch 3 or 4 Iowa games. It's a good one. I appreciate that. Rich is where I watched them early on, and I watched the Penn State one when I came back. I went to the Ohio State Notre Dame game, September 23rd. I came back the next day, and I watched Iowa Penn State because I was like, how the hell did Penn State kick their ass? It was just the Iowa offense was so bad. And yeah, I agree. But I fast forward through the commercials, so it's really like 40 minutes of my time. So, 2.5 hours or so over the last 10 days. Not as bad, but I appreciate that Rich is where. And Zaire, he still leads them in yards and touchdowns, Zaire, and touchdowns. That's Eric All. I saw someone said they're from Iowa. Death Dynasty's from Iowa. Don't watch the football team because it's brutal. Julian Leal says, yes, Michigan will win the national championship. Phil Bats, strike 3. Gregory Martin, are we live? What? Where am I? Yes, we are live, Gregory. Sean, strike 3. Give me the one of these. Appreciate you. We will be live, guys, on Sunday, 10 o'clock Central, where we're at in Dallas, 11 o'clock Eastern. College football playoff. Michigan's going to win the Big Ten for a 3rd year in a row. 3rd year in a row. Very special. Very, very special. I hope you guys join us for the CFP Top 25. Check it to go live before the game, before it starts. We'll do a recap, kind of an overreaction Sunday of Michigan, Iowa. We'll have a video out live on Saturday. May even go live on Saturday, but no promises yet. We'll have overreaction Sunday before the rankings come out. We'll do the rankings live. And unless something crazy happens that we can't predict, we'll know we'll have an instance, we'll have a couple shows built. We will have a Michigan football preview for the college football playoff semifinal. Florida State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, whoever Michigan's opponent ends up being. So join us live. Make sure you guys put on those notifications so you can, get the alert when we go live on your iPhone, Android, etc. Hit those notifications and make sure you approve that Michigan Football Report if you're subscribed. Before we get out of here, spam Bosa in the chat. Can we get 50 people to type Bosa? How about Michigan Football 144 years, 144 people to type Bosa, or 144 times. 11 a.m. Yes, 11 a.m. Zaire, Eastern time. 11 a.m. The rankings will start at 12 Eastern. We'll go live an hour before that. Kind of recap Iowa, do a overreaction Sunday, take your questions, speculate, hypothesize, and then when the rankings come out at 12, we will bring those to you live on Sunday and then do a preview right after that. So we'll be live from about 11 to probably 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. Let's spam Bosa 144 times. Julian Leal, Thomas Crawford, Cubsman 2016. Good year for the Cubs, man. Gregory Martin, I see you. John, Thomas Crawford, Ashley Lawson's in the house. Julian Leal. Let's get 60 more Bosas. 60 more Bosas. Just like strike three, I see you. I see you, strike three. Cubsman again in the house. 140. 110 people watching. Our live peaked at where we peaked at, Jack. We peaked at 522 live, right at the College Football Playoff rankings. So appreciate everyone who has watched. Give shout outs to the super chatters. We had who, Jack? We had strike three. We had Steve. We had John Blaze. We had Ashley Lawson. We had Bruce, the $100 super chat. The Jack Fund, Jim Printable contributed to it. Jack Fund, send Jack to the national championship game. 25% of the way there, and we still got a month left to get there for him. So really appreciate everyone who did that. We're gonna cut it off at Christmas, Jack. That's the thing. Christmas, every $50 super chat goes to get Jack. Corporate's making travel cutoff, so they said, James, you can go, but Jack. So we're gonna make sure Jack gets there because we're going to power him through. So that is the super chat menu. Reminder: we'll be live on Sunday. Appreciate everybody. We have to hit our 144. Bosas, Zaire, Death Dynasty, Greg Martin, Sean, Paul, Anthony, Phil Batts. Scroll up and get a few more shots before we get out of here. John Blaze, of course. Steve Nedlian, Kenny and Subic. Estat. Appreciate all you guys. It's been the Michigan Football Report. We've been alive for 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 17 seconds. Subscribe to the channel. We'll have videos up on Wednesday. It'll be the Michigan football rumors we did about an hour and a half ago. Thursday will be the Michigan Iowa preview. Friday we will have the mailbag here on the show. If anything happens that's newsworthy in that time frame, we'll have a second video on those days. And then we have post-game content, maybe live after Iowa on Saturday. And of course, we will have the Michigan Football Report top 25 college football playoff matchup rankings live Sunday, 11 o'clock Eastern. For Jack Lauderay, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh, I am James Yoder. You've been watching the Michigan Football Report. I will see you guys later. Till then, go Blue.